Are we still on?
We sure.
Best I can tell.
What was the 4 documents he spoke of? The Constitution, the Bill of Rights,
Northwest Ordinance.
Treaty?
Northwest
Yes, correct.
Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, they're all in that updated brief that he said he haven't checked yet, but he said that he uploaded it to his group. We did good tonight. Nobody got axed. Nobody got nothing. That was not too much buffing. Way better than last week. Appreciate your patience, folks.
We appreciate you.
Hey, where were you? I invited you twice.
I was talking to the other gentleman. I'm praying that I'll be able to share the audio or lead them to the audio if it's uploaded. How long would that be?
Oh, to Dominic? Right.
Yeah. It's actually Dominion, but I think it's Dominion. Oh.
Right, you said Dominion.
Yeah, but it's Dominion time. I didn't know, and that's his handle, Dominion time.
Okay, well, you can forward him my contact.
I'm trying to see where you've sent me anything. I haven't been able to do that. I'm a little bit challenged.
If you hit on my name.
Okay, which one?
Avatar.
Okay.
It's
ILNL.
Everybody gets that wrong. It's LNL.
LNL of the Earth.
Of the Earth, yeah.
Okay,
on the Earth last week. I change that all the time.
Okay.
On, of, if. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Keep them guessing.
Do you see the message now? It says send message.
Okay, cool. That's great. Okay. So, hi. Yeah, okay. And you said, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to send you that group of
great.
Sabrina's.
Stand by. The transmission is coming. It's funny.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, I was screwing around. It wouldn't work. Skype was wanking on me. I don't know what they're doing with the code on Skype. But I have heard somebody, one of the ladies in one of the other rooms, she's on a Mac, and she said that she waited, and she said she's messaging from Teams now via the Skype account. And I said, there you go. That's hopeful.
Getting there.
Yeah. Eventually, it's all going to be one platform. They can call it whatever they want.
Yeah, it's all military platform.
Yeah, it's all ARPA, DARPA. And that's what the COVID was. It was all ran out of DOD. People don't know what if they don't have a clue. They really don't.
No, Sabrina talks about that.
Yeah, Sabrina Wallace, right?
Yes.
Yep. Do you know about this neurosurgeon that's in El Salvador?
Not heard of that.
I'm going to send you a video of him. God is really good. He's like showing me all kinds of stuff. It's amazing.
Is he in the into neuro everything?
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. I mean I don't know if I'm at liberty really to discuss it because I'm still learning. And I'm an electronics individual, so I like when you start learning about the nanotech and nano processors and all that stuff, yeah, it's incredible. But it's all about knowing about creation and who you are too.
Well, you definitely have to have that basis, or else it can capture your mind. Have you heard about Morgellons? And I'm not going to say anything more about it because it's,
Yeah, honey, Morgellons was a precursor to what's going on now. I
yeah,
mean, I can go into black goo. I can go into action at a
yeah,
distance, all that
no,
stuff.
let's not do that.
Maybe
Just
maybe
because,
on some other time somewhere
right,
else.
yeah, yeah, because folks here lot
I
don't.
understand. I understand where they're at. I was there, and I'm still learning on
Hmm.
all different facets.
Hmm. Yeah, we're all life learners, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Just
yeah,
I'm really thankful and I'm really grateful because I got another gift today.
yeah, what was it? Tell me.
Today, yeah, I'll tell you exactly how it goes. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Like I said, I looked through my Skype and I got all these people that ain't with us anymore. I probably got about 400 contacts on Skype.
Folks in this kind of type of movement, or, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I did a little bit of stuff in broadcasting, internet broadcasting, you know, doing IRCs, all kinds of things. I used to work in the amusement industry, so to speak. Working on the games, and then now the games aren't in the arcades. Now they're in the homes, and they don't even know what's going on with that because they're being programmed through the game system.
well, I don't. I've heard that they're transporting us through those games now. How I'm not that well versed, or it's such a
Yeah,
vast subject.
I
But
I
how
worked
do they
on them.
figure they're doing
I
that?
worked on them, and then I eventually I worked on the computers and didn't realize they were computers. I was just working on game boards, and then I got a computer and I started playing that Lara Croft thing, and then I started, you know, going into the whole quote unquote corporate, so-called government stuff, and then I was finding out the whole thing in the intelligence and what they're doing, and then I realized that everybody's got an alternative that's in that system, and we're feeding it. It's called psychometric profiling. So
Building the profiles, right, with the AI
yeah,
to
yeah,
match
yeah.
the
Well,
digital
AIs are not what people think
farming.
they are.
Well, they're making us into motherboards,
Mm, I think it's a little bit more than
transverters.
that. It's a little bit more than that. Actually, we're the energy for the etheric entities. They
Yeah,
convert us.
batteries that are transmitting all this shit, all of
Yeah,
our
yeah.
DNA, not shit.
Well, well, some people's DNA ain't their DNA anymore, and that's the key. I I'm at the point where I'll take care of if I got trauma, yeah, I want surgery and I want the drugs, right? Because I want to survive. But other than that, I'm not volunteering anything.
What, you're not going to be a volunteer at Red Cross and give blood every month?
I don't do that. I know what my DNA is. And yeah, I'm breathing it in, but that's, I mean, I don't know. I don't, you said you don't want to go through it. I'll have a private conversation with you about it because people just really don't know. And it's quite amazing. And it's as old as time. And it's just new to us. This technology that we're communicating on is not new. It's ancient.
The black or the nanos knew.
Well,
But in 2004, my biology instructor said in 20 years, if all the health industry will be nano driven. And in
yeah,
2004, I said, what is nano? And then in 2018, when it came out, or when nano was being put out for people to study.
for public consumption.
Right.
Yeah.
It was mind blowing because
Yeah.
how did that instructor in 2004 know everything in 2020 was going to be nano based?
Because they were already doing it.
Yeah. I wondered whether or not he was of this earth. Hey.
In 2008, I did a whole paper on nanotechnology with the heart for my nursing. And at the time, I thought it was a good thing, but not anymore.
What, that the valves that they were putting in folks' mitral valves were actually had electronic components to it that was driven by our life force energies.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say the heart doesn't work like we were taught. Yeah, are you familiar with the chestahedron?
There's only one.
It's been a while.
Yeah, the chestahedron is a guy named Chester. It's shaped like a platonic solid, and it spins the blood. It's actually the heart is essentially it's lateral, and it's folded over. And what it does is it makes the blood spin in a spiral, and that imparts the energy into the blood.
Well, that's what drives it up and down. The right side drives it down into our lower amenities and upper amenities, and the left drives it up into our brain.
We're a toroid.
Well, that's what the textbooks told me in 2004.
Yeah.
About the heart.
Yeah, the textbooks lie.
Big time. They're all been stolen, so I don't refer to them any longer.
Yeah. In 1880 something, or 1860s, there was a bunch of German scientists that did away with the ether physics. They went to conventional bullcrap. We got energy all around us. We are energy too. We're all part of it, but they don't want us to know that.
Yeah, and Canada's protesting it with protesting Tesla this weekend.
You're talking about that corporation. Is that what you're talking about? Tesla?
Yeah.
Not
Elon Musk.
Not the guy Nikola Tesla, right?
No, that they have no recollection of that. It's just Elon Musk, right? Because the association with
Yeah.
Trump.
What a kind guy. He didn't even create Tesla. Yeah, it's going to be interesting years ahead. And I must admit, it is a beautiful time to be alive. There was a guy, his name was Rob Skiba, did a presentation. You can look it up on YouTube. It was a Prophecy Club presentation. It's called 2045, the year man becomes immortal. Yeah. Rest in peace, Rob. His wife said they killed him.
Was he targeted? He knew too much? Was that it?
Oh, definitely. He did a presentation with a guy named Timothy Bentz. Timothy Bentz has a ministry. He goes, you could just go look at Rob Skiba and Timothy Bentz. The presentation is Canaanite altars and the Federal Reserve. There's two parts to it. The first part you can get on Rob's site, and I think you can also get the second part, but it has a different title. On YouTube, his channel, Rob Skiba. And Timothy Bentz got a call from a friend over in the Middle East. He said, we're doing a 20 layer deep dig. He says we're between the 15th and 17th layer. We ran across a black stone that has an inscription on it, and essentially it was an altar where they were sacrificing the children, Canaanite altar, altar to Baal. And there's something about these black stones, i.e., the black granite. They have some very specific properties. Matter of fact, if you go into the UN and you go in that place they call the Worship Center now, which was the former home of the Lucifer Trust, you know about that. Now it's called the Lucius Trust because a lot of people had a little problem with that word. So they changed it to Lucius Trust, and it's down the street from the UN. But there's a black stone in the worship center also, in the basement of the UN. And I mean, you can go around the world. There's this special properties of those black stones, and that's where the black goo comes from. And that's probably about it, because I just want to respect the room. But Queen, I'll let him know. He has a problem with his he had a Telegram account. He had a problem. Whatever. I told him. I said just put the app on the device so you can that way he can get into the room and all that. Yeah, matter of fact, he knew what a 1020 was, and he wasn't in the call. He says, "What's that got to do?" I said, "You had to be there."
Yeah, I've been asking Glenn for that form since last July,
Mm-hmm.
and we scheduled a week to speak on it, and then something else came up and it got put aside, and then he's just spoke on it now. So it is effective. It's one that he created because we can all create our own IRS forms, right? Or his friend created. I'm sorry, not him.
Yeah.
But he used it to write off his car. I know that. The
Yeah.
Toyota, 34,000.
I don't know. I'm kind of stuck with somebody putting a chat about sovereignty. Because that's kind of like where I'm at. Be interested in going deep in that area and about how to shield yourself from them. Because I just have a little issue with identity theft and all that other stuff. I don't really like playing a game.
How often or how many apps do you have on your phone?
How many apps?
Yeah, you said you had a problem with identity theft because every app.
Well. Let me say this, honey. You think look, people chuckle, right? But I mean, how many devices can you have, and how many AKAs can you have? Most people they put the device in the legal name, right?
Or the company does it for them.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. You know that. You got a lot of platforms, and all those platforms are in the name. I mean, you're playing the game.
Well, I don't know. I signed up for a crypto wallet. There's a company. It's under a company name. So
Yeah. Well, that's the only way to go with that. I mean, if you're doing any crypto, you better not have it in the name, because and don't you dare try to remember your key, because you'll be hacked. It'll be hacked right out of you.
what?
Yeah.
So how do I avoid that? Because it's written down in my trusty password book that has the other 200 attached to it.
Yeah, it's tough. You gotta if you're gonna try to keep it in that memory bank, you're gonna have to do some tricks with it.
Well, I don't want to let the system do it for me. I think that's like a total fuckery right there.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how
Okay,
many.
solutions, folks.
I don't know. I don't know how many characters. If it's 256 characters, how are you going to remember it?
Oh, it's only 4 words.
Yeah.
4 words with 4 characters each. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's specific,
That,
and it's. I
that's
hope that doesn't change.
that's. I don't think that's enough. Did you hear about the guy that he somehow his hard drive with all the bitcoins on it were somehow tossed, and it's and It's allegedly has like $11 billion on that hard drive, and he wants to like buy the dump so he can just excavate the dump to see if he can find the hard drive. That's crazy, because if it's a mechanical hard drive and it's been exposed to the elements, it's got to be gone.
Or there'd be a back door.
No,
Well,
I'm just saying. I've worked on hard drives. The soil, the humidity, and the interaction with the how do you say, the electrons, it's going to corrode that. It's not going to survive. The only way it would survive is if it was like really, really wrapped up real well.
glass mason jar that's wax sealed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you know about that guy. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. But it is what it is. I'm like, like, I'm a little leery of the whole crypto thing. I was just looking at something. I think it was called Pirate Gold, where they get accounts in Switzerland. So I don't know, but it's all based on money, i.e., gold and silver.
Yeah,
And
they
the
were
card,
pushing that 2 years ago here.
yeah. Well, there's different platforms. There's also the thing that's called Goldbacks. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, it's on the the
So
wallet that I have, Exodus. It shows all the different crypto you can exchange from. Because I'm working for a company that's paying me in coins, so I have to convert it through this wallet.
right. Yeah, the Goldbacks are intrinsic because I think the bills have a certain amount of gold embedded in them. And I think currently there's like 5 states that it's legal tender in. So that's hopeful.
Well, not here.
Yeah. Well,
Not
you
here.
push for it.
Yeah. We got to keep trying, right?
Yeah. Of course, South Dakota is one, because you know that I believe that the South Dakota Bank, they strike silver rounds. It's like the last bank in the nation that does that.
I think that was the only state that when COVID started.
Oh yeah, the governor
Yes.
wasn't compliant.
Yes. Yes. So that was the only state that Rick Martin didn't sue for COVID violations because the governor didn't comply.
Yeah.
So there's hope there. I think I want to move there.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying Montana, but
Well, do you remember the woman Jackie Fig?
no, but I remember that name.
Well, Jackie Fig, you could go to trying to think of the guy's name. His YouTube channel is Minivan Jack. He's like the whole digital electrical meter thing, smart meters. I'm trying to think of his name. His name eludes me, but you can look her up. It's called A Woman Who Drives Without a License, and she was from England, and she actually created an organization called Internally Displaced People, IDP, and she talks to him about that, how you can get a nomad tag out from South Dakota. And you didn't have to live there. You didn't have to be a resident. And they would issue you a nomad tag. Then she went into the whole thing about creating a foreign trust and all that stuff, and how they were fining her. She owed like $900,000 in fines and blah blah blah. And just before she was ready to launch IDP University to teach people how to reclaim their sovereignty, she was in a plane crash. So anybody who's out there speaking the truth, don't be flying on no little prop plane. Make sure it's a big plane, because you're going to take everybody with you if they're going to take it. Oh.
Yeah, it's serious shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this stuff is, they do it to certain folks, right? And their
Honey,
profile.
I've been on this thing. I belonged to a prison ministry that we would pray for political prisoners, and I mean, I'm like joyful and sorrowful all at the same time. It's not a good place to be. But I'm definitely grateful. I'm definitely got a spirit of gratitude. I'm just really thankful. I didn't think I'd make it this far. I didn't think I'd make it. I didn't think I'd make it past 30, living the way I was.
Yeah, I heard you talk on a couple of chats that you were pushing the envelope a little bit, but right, you've chosen the right path, because what's the alternative?
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna run the race. As long as the Creator wants me to run it, I'll run it. Just got to be a little bit. How do you say? Keep your cards close to your chest, for sure.
Keep your enemies close. Not too close.
I'm not really worried about the enemies. I think they need to be worried.
Yeah, it's more like trolls.
Because it ain't me. I'm just a conduit. It ain't me. Wait till they see what's coming.
Yeah, that's interesting what you told me about that phrase. Now that's, I'm going to have to do some more reading to secure my phrase about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, that nursing instructor in 2004 was saying everything in, I guess they were teaching it to twisted minds in the big state of New York. They were the first to get everything hot from Europe.
No, they didn't teach it.
2000.
I did research on it and wrote a paper.
Oh, I thought you said in 2008.
Yeah, I did research and wrote the paper on it.
Can you do a search? Do a search for on YouTube, Rice University, Tesla phoresis, action at a distance. Oh, we just happen to have these carbon nanotubes laying around here, so we decided. Yeah, and that was 2016. Okay, so if they're showing it to you in 2016, how long they've been doing it? Guarantee you, they've been doing it for 40 years minimum.
So twisted. How did you hear about it in 2000, or how did it come to being to you in 2008?
If I remember correctly, I think my husband mentioned it to me. It was also supposedly being used for cancer and targeting just the bad cells and not the good.
Yeah, cancer's parasites.
Right. But I'm back then.
Yeah, 1950 CIA document. Biochemical resemblance between endoparasites and malignant tumors.
So I hope you got 100% on that thesis, Twisted.
I got an A++.
A plus plus. You got 110.
And a gift card.
And graduated with honors up the yang. Oh,
I
so
read.
were you doing? Was your former husband the instructor or something? Were you doing him
Oh,
Twisted?
we
You better stop.
we were both students, honey.
You're terrible.
Oh, okay. You weren't as bad as I was because my first husband.
That was the only A I ever got.
Yeah, she was defined. Hey.
Well, my first computer programming instructor became my first husband. Don't tell me how that turned out.
Yeah. Was he your handler or was you or his handler?
He was I think both. But it was a fucking disaster. And on the day of the wedding, I wanted to run. But my dad said, you invited everybody here. This is how supportive he was. You invited everybody here today. You're not walking out now. And I wanted to walk out 5 minutes before.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
That was I paid a big due by doing that. So congratulations, Twisted. You were only you were with your peer.
No, I mean, seriously, I can like see how those things occur. How, like I've met AJ and I know he's got at least 3 handlers. And don't get me wrong, I believe, God's using it all for his glory. So people can say whatever, but that's crazy. I've been to like the Bilderberg. They would have a meeting every 4 years at the Bilderberg group in Chantilly, Virginia. We would go there.
Did you feel the weight in the air?
No, I felt I felt the directed energy weapon hit me in my leg. Yeah, it was some funk in the air. You could tell when they were pulling in. You could tell which one of the vehicles were armored.
Had the sonar? Were you in Toronto for the G20?
No, I didn't. No. I was gonna go to Washington State for the G20. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about? Well,
no, there was one in Toronto.
oh yeah, that was the one. That was the one where they found out that the agent provocateur was the police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that went erupted.
Yeah, Press for Truth.
Yeah.
Dan Dix.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, he's a nice guy. I met him a couple times.
Yeah, he was in the protest that I was mentioning earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking and been targeted because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, you know it. I can't say nothing bad about Dan. He's a good guy. He's really articulate too.
Very good journalist, yes.
Oh yeah. He's a pro, man, no doubt.
Yeah, did you see the piece he did on the Five Eyes? I think it was in Ottawa, where he
Nah.
walked right
The
up to the Five Eyes department and started filming. And of course, they came out to ask him what he
harassment.
was doing and to shut it down. That they didn't. There was signs, of course, all within the perimeter outside the gates that
Mm-hmm.
no cameras were allowed. But he was doing it anyway, and they confronted him, and he was, well, this is, public space. I'm allowed to film. So the only thing that he was allowed to film and, mention it while he was talking to the guy was turning away, walking away with the guy, saying, we don't allow this. And he was asking about what kind of work do you do there, and you know I have my property in this building, so aren't I? He was challenging the fact that because he had information and it was being held in that building, he was entitled to access.
Right.
Right? And of course they were using every excuse they could pull out of their hat.
Yeah. Well, you know it's 14 eyes now.
Oh gosh, with Atlantis surveillance attached to every government building in every township, it must be 1,099.
No, I'm just saying that like the Five Eyes is 5 different countries. Now it's 14 eyes.
Oh, right. Right, they have aligned with the UN, so now it's 14.
Yeah, well, this is how they circumvent. Like you know, they'll have like other entities doing the stuff that you know the Americans would be doing illegally. So they circumvent the law by doing that. I mean, I'm in communication with people in Australia, and there's a base over there, and they're doing stuff over there that they can't do here. It's really crazy. I was communicating with a young man. He was 19 years old. He was on the island of Lanai, where they have the radar that hits that they used to go monitor China and Russia, right? And he was telling me that they did a little documentary where they went out into the reef that's out there and how it's all dead because of the microwave. It's really jacked up. He was living in the jungle. He's telling me he was eating worms and stuff. He's back in Wisconsin. I was glad he got out of there.
They
Yeah,
make the land so barren that nobody wants to be there, right?
yeah, but people go there and then they get stuck there. I got a buddy of
Sure.
mine who went to Greece. He's stuck in Greece. He wants to come back. He's in Philly. He wants to come back. I, I'm not in communication with him. I wish he would like get in touch with somebody. I would have told him, go get on a freighter, man. I don't care. Get a job wiping the deck. You don't have
Yeah,
to
go
worry about
down to the
flying.
dock.
You can get back here. You can get back to the States for free.
Hmm.
That's how they did it back in the day.
Yeah,
What
go
do you
to a
think
dock.
Ellis Island was about? I was just looking through my pictures. You know that Ellis Island has all this shrubbery growing on it, but I got a picture like from the 40s without the shrubbery, and there's like all kinds of symbolism on that island. It's
Which one?
definitely got occult sigils all over the place.
On which island?
Ellis Island,
Oh, in Greece, yeah.
yeah, that's where the
Yeah.
Statue of Liberty is, and
Well,
and
yeah, they said that's the very first, that's originally where Christ was born, not Israel.
yeah, I don't know who they are. Ellis Island um, is not part of the United States. It's actually was against the law that actually bring that statue on U.S. soil.
The Freemasons brought it over.
Yeah, I know all about that stuff. They would have rituals inside there. There would be lights. They would flash the lights for when they were having meetings. There's places within the statue that the public don't know.
And Lady Liberty is really a man, I heard.
It goes all the way back to the city of Ur and the temple of the Inanna, the Queen of Heaven. And the priestesses were they looked like priestesses and they called them priestesses, but they were essentially mutilated men. That's like the Baphomet, like the Wachowskis.
Yeah, performing for the wicked.
Well, I'm saying it's the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which all of them had to do to eat.
It all goes back to a perverse spirit. That's what it is.
Yeah. King James. They were all perverts.
Yeah.
Pedophiles.
But that perverse spirit, it just doesn't. It's not just pertaining to quote unquote, the alphabet, but it's actually that letters, whatever they call it, right? It's a spiritual matter, but that's just a thin sliver of the wide spectrum of perversion, because it's not just within a quote unquote community, i.e., like you go to the whole thing where they have the Gay Pride Day, right? Well, gay is a perversion of the word, happy and carefree. There used to be theaters all over the country. It would be called the Gaiety Theater. That was a place where you went to forget about your cares. You were to be happy and carefree.
The Gateway Theater.
Well, it can be, yeah. Because they did a lot of programs.
We have a Gateway Theater here.
Yeah,
and the Stanley.
Yeah, but I'm saying there were theaters that used that title Gaiety because it meant to be happy and carefree. You would go and watch some type of vaudeville before there were movies, and then there was
early. Well, it was early porn, right?
Huh?
It was early porn.
Porn.
Yeah.
Well, no, a lot of the theaters were converted into that. They were converted into burlesque houses, and that's where all the comedians and all that, they would come up through those burlesque houses. I mean, Red Fox, you know Red Fox, right? Lenny Bruce, they all performed in burlesque houses.
Then they created Red Light, the Red Light District.
No, the burlesque houses were the Red Light District.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't living back then. Hard living.
And there's an aspect too, like all these gentlemen's clubs, like the Masonic halls. What about these things they called stag bars, where men would go to the bar, but they wouldn't let any women in because the guys, they didn't want to be found. I remember when I would be servicing equipment, you go into an old stag bar and there's like a trough going down the bar because nobody went to the bathroom. They just peed right at the bar.
What?
Yeah, I thought that was really weird, but I didn't grow up in that time. Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
first time I've heard of that.
yeah.
I don't
Go
know
look up,
history.
go look up stag bonders. Women weren't allowed in there. Yeah,
Good
it's
thing.
crazy. You know, I grew up after that. That was like before my time. But you know, when you're in a municipality that has a lot of history to it, you know, those places still exist. I could tell you like some of the history that I found out that ain't on the books. Like there's a place I know because I knew the guy that owned the place, and I knew the father of that. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail because it might, you know, it'll have something to do with exactly, you know, the quote unquote area. But um, it's where it's the basement of this place. Um, it was like a restaurant, right? Restaurant carry out. And prior to that, the guy actually had the guy that owned the place and the son came in. He told the story about him and his dad. He was there when his dad put the kitchen in the basement, and he said it was all dirt. And he said that there were eyelets, you know, iron eyelets in the wall, and basically that place was where they would bring the slaves in, and they would house the slaves in there. They would run the chain through those eyes. They yeah, and they would auction the slaves off right there out on the front of the place. And that's not even in the historical records.
No, that would have been burned.
Huh?
That would have been burned.
What do you mean burned?
Well, they wouldn't have wanted that information out.
Well, it's well, there was a lot of stuff like that that's around. You know, I had a friend growing up. He had like all these salt and pepper shakers and creamers and nothing. They were he called them his knickknacks, and some people would be offended by that. But there's a whole genre, you know, having to do with all that, with slavery and whatnot, and um, people that supported the houses. You
Turned
know, the
everybody
maids,
into
the
hoarders.
butlers, and the huh?
Turned everybody into hoarders.
I'm
You
sorry,
know, turned everybody into a hoarder because they were scared that they would not have anything
oh,
to come
I
back
don't know
to.
I don't know what you mean by that. People turned everybody into hoarders. I don't, I'm not following. I'm not tracking with you.
Sorry, maybe I didn't hear you correctly. Keep going.
Yeah, no, you know, I'm just saying where slavery, you know, when the people were being trafficked back in the day, there was a whole genre that came up from that, and it's people's history. I mean, there was one guy, you know, he was on Antiques Roadshow, and he would, you know, it was all about, you know, the history, having to deal with slavery and all that. Like if you think about it, I have images. I don't have the badges, but the police, the quote unquote, the very first police were essentially runaway slave agents here in the United States. That badge eventually evolved into the police badge. But little do people know that slavery wasn't just with on melanated people, because the word slave comes from Slovakia. That's where the word slave comes, the Slavic people. You know, the Romans, they were conquering everybody. They were enslaving everybody. And they call it Britannia now.
Many names. The
Yep.
Knights of Templar, um,
Yeah.
the Pharaoh Society.
Like I can go on and on. That the handle that Pete was on earlier. I don't know if you heard him say it. I didn't even know he goes by Texas Pete. I'm like, dude, and you were on there the whole time.
He was on We Are Law.
Huh?
He was on this channel.
Yeah, he was a member, and I was looking through the members that and I ran across the name, and I didn't do the corollary, but
Yes.
ironically I was on call with him earlier, and we hopped on here earlier.
Oh, I didn't see him because Glenn invited him maybe 3 weeks ago now.
Oh,
And
he invited Pete because he said he knew Glenn.
right, Glenn invited him to We Are Law. But he came one Saturday and I welcomed him in, and another admin welcomed him in, and he didn't say anything.
Yeah,
So has he spoken here at all?
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, We were in here earlier, and
Oh,
he used my Skype handle. I said, dude, they don't know me by that here.
oh, okay. That's why I didn't recognize him. Okay, good.
Yeah, my Skype handle. Well, I came into the call he was in. We were on a Skype call, and then I brought it up. I said, "Dude, are you on Telegram?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So I said, "What's your handle on Telegram?" He said, "Texas Pete." And it's ironic because I we were talking about food, and I talked to him about, well, there's a Texas Pete hot sauce, right? And he's from Texas, right? And I said, that's just another confirmation, out of the mouth of two or more witnesses, a thing will be established. Because I said it earlier in the call, and then later on he told me it was his handle on Telegram. I said that's just the confirmation that his hands in it.
He's in it to win it. Yeah, he knows. He
Well,
knows the racket.
who's he?
Texas Pete.
No, when I said he, I mean I'm talking
Mm.
about the Almighty.
Oh,
Yeah, out of the mouth of two or more witnesses, the thing shall be established. That's where the whole testimony comes from. What do you need for a notary? You need two witnesses, right?
mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah,
Confirmation.
yeah, it's all based in the original law, but the liar, the deceiver, the destroyer, you know, they just expanded on it, and they put coals, they heap coals on the people's heads. Then therefore you need devils to tell you, how to what is it, navigate all this bullshit.
Gatekeepers, I call them.
Yeah. Well, they ain't lying. If you go over to Inns of Court, out of the city of London, which is the center of what? Legal and economic power, right?
The Vatican.
Well, the Vatican is a center of religious power. Ultimately, it's where all this crap comes from. Because the Knights Templar, that's the city of London, the 1 square mile
Mm-hmm.
that was ceded to them by the Pope. And then you got this place over in the colonies called the 10 square miles, which actually, if you pull up Vatican Design Exposed or the Grand Design Exposed website, my buddy John Daniels wrote that book, and he did a thorough research on the forming of the District of Columbia and how it came to be. I mean, what's the biggest university in D.C.? Oh, it's that place called Georgetown University. That's Jesuit Central, ain't it?
Yeah, the symbology is thick there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't make it up.
You can't dream it up. You don't want to. You don't want to
And
dream like that.
listen, if you go to that site and you can get the whole book there except for chapter 6. Guess what chapter 6 is? The Jesuits. I have a hard copy of the book. If you want a copy of the book, you got to pay $300 to Amazon. I don't know what Linda did. Linda was his wife. She was a mess. I think she was a doper or something. She would come and go and come and go. He was from West Virginia. I met
Why did
him
you?
on
Yeah, why did you?
the Prophecy Club circuit. Nice man.
And what made him? What led him there? What pulled the rug out from under him that made him do all that research?
Oh, I guess he was led by the Lord. He used to tell me, he says, God's people are always in the mountains. I can hear him saying it. And I told him, I said, brother, I said, what if it's not his will for me to be in the mountains? I said, where would I be safest? Would I be in the mountains hiding, and not be in the Father's will? Or could I be right in the middle of the thick of it and be in his will? Where would you rather be? I want to be in the Father's will no matter what. I'm not fearful. Fear not. Many times it says fear not in Scripture. You know how many times it says do not be afraid? What could they threaten me with?
666 times.
What 666 times. She's funny. What are they going to threaten with me? That they're going to threaten me. I got 10 more realms to explore.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Enoch. That's why they didn't want you to know that they didn't want you to have those books. The book Enoch. He was lifted up. He was shown 10 realms. Now the quantum physicists say there's 11.
A weapon?
No, he said. I said 11.
Oh,
The
11.
quantum physicists now claim there are 11 realms.
Yeah, we deserve another one.
Well, the fourth dimension is accelerating, and there is a separation between the wheat and the chaff that's going on as we speak. It's a choice between fear and love.
Right. Sword or shield?
Yeah. Well, you know what what is it? An attorney, right? They call them attorneys, and the word to attorn means to what? To turn over or to twist. And if you have 3 strands and you twist them together, what do you get? You get a wick, and that's where you get the term wicked from. Okay.
That's
Now
where you
the
get
legal.
twisted minds. No,
Yeah. Well, that's why it's exactly right. If you go to if like in 2014, I was over there at the City of London's website, and there is the Lincoln's Inn, and the Lincoln's Inn, there was a portion of that site that I was looking at. It's called the Advocates, and the Advocates is a group that does the mentoring for young barristers, and they have a term that they use for mentoring young barristers. You know what it is? It's called deviling.
Ugh.
I can't
I
make
was
this
gonna
stuff up.
say.
I
I was
can't make
gonna
it up.
say.
Now, listen. I ran across the book that they use to mentor young barristers. Guess what it's called? The Devil's Handbook.
Oh, fuck.
So I have a copy of that. I got in touch with a buddy of mine in New Zealand. He sent me a copy of the 2004. It's 2004-2005 edition. Now I went back like in 2016, or actually it was the latter part of 2015. You can't get it. They pulled it off the site. Now there are copies now that are been traveling around the internet, so you can find it if you look hard enough.
Just like Kathy O'Brien's book that we were talking about last week, remember? You can't find that book anymore.
Yeah. Huh?
We can't find that book either.
You can't find it? I'll bet you I can find it. I probably got it on one of my drives.
Wow.
I'm wondering if she's still alive. God bless her.
Yeah, she is, but I know her mate isn't. No longer.
Mark passed?
Mark, right. Mark. Mm-hmm.
Well, God rest his soul. He was her handler.
Yeah, he was a good man.
Yeah.
He was a whistleblower too.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet him?
It was Ted Gunderson.
Yes, that's who Glenn was talking about. He met him.
Yeah.
Before they poisoned him.
That's back when the FBI was actually fidelity, bravery, and integrity. But now it's bullshit.
Yeah, Trump wants to get rid of it or something, right?
Well, there's no constitutional. All these alphabet agencies got to go.
Yeah, that's why Canadians hate Elon, is because he's exposing all that.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You know, Canada's part of the United States.
Oh God, we're all part of the Americas. Nobody gets that.
All right, they don't get it. They have no clue what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's all from the Virginia company that came where?
Right.
East India Trading Company. It's all Hail Britannia, Britannia rules the world. Yeah, it's Rome. I mean, they can't even figure it out. You got the fasci right there on the floor of the Senate. Oh, they call it the Senate. Imagine that.
The cynic Senate.
I can go on and on. The apotheosis of George Washington. That statue stood right underneath the Capitol dome. As above, so below. It's right in your face. I mean, people don't have a clue how the nation was actually established and for what purpose.
Elenel, did you say something about someone traveling on a WSA passport earlier?
Yeah, the world passport is recognized anyway through the New York Ontario border. They honored it when a gentleman who's an ex-police officer, police officer from the UK who's residing, I find out tonight, in Texas, traveled to Canada. When Glenn had his last retreat, which I think was in November, he was there at the retreat, and he traveled into Canada with the world passport with no issues. So, yeah,
good on him.
Pardon me?
I said good on him.
Yeah, well, that was good news. It was we celebrated that win because that's one for us as, nationalists or whatever way you want to,
Sovereign.
part of the republic, right?
How can you be a sovereign? I guess they
Exactly.
Does
don't understand who you are.
does
Right.
does Glenn
Yeah.
does Glenn know the guy? Like, is there any other details, or is that all he had was just the passport with no none of their visas or anything? You know, they have like a entry exit visa based on a UN treaty or something like that.
Well, that's only if you plan on working or residing in America for longer than a visiting, you know, um, a visitor's pass, right? You don't want to go to the border and say, "Oh, I'm going to go and look for work," because they're going to ask you what country and where your base is, right? Because they have very strict green card policy in America for everyone, right? You just can't come to America unless you're invited or hired by a company, but the company has to advertise for a year that position to make sure that an American citizen can't fill the position before they look outside into for another country. And that's all changed now because Trump has offered every Canadian their extradition papers where we can become American citizens. And I think that's a very good thing because that opens us up for those work visas that have been hard to get. But no, the World Passport, if you want the link to that, I have that in my saved messages if you want to read those materials. It's very easy, and it's I know somebody that's operated with one, and they've had success with opening up bank accounts up here. And this is a fully Nazi state, country, whatever way you want to look at it. So
Did you say
it's had
hey?
success. Hey, what do you mean, hey?
Are you up there? You
So
know,
yeah,
I
you
can
know.
walk to the border. I can walk.
You can walk over.
Well, I
I
could, but
know.
I get eaten by a coyote or something. But no, I can physically get to the border in less than 2 minutes. And I
Oh,
grew up
gotcha.
basically going to
Yeah.
the States every weekend. So I was a Girl Guide too. So I got to tour the Air Force Base at in Washington State, which was very fascinating as a young
Yeah.
child, and it taught me about military very young.
hmm I got a buddy out of Elam up there.
What's ELO?
E, Elam, ELUM. I'm trying to think exactly. He goes into the town all the time to buy his provisions. His name's JJ. He,
Cool.
he's a good. I'm trying to think what exactly the town is. I gotta call him. I haven't talked to him in a while. Yeah,
Yes, I know a
he
JJ, and he's the president of the Duke Boar Association.
yeah, that's not this JJ. But
Okay.
he introduced me to a guy named Kurt Riggin. You ever heard of Kurt Riggin?
Mm-mm.
Dude, he they Kurt. If you do a search for Kurt, he's a bar attorney, but he never went to law school. He's the they call him the self-appointed chief of the Kikialis tribe. Yeah, go look that guy up. He spells his name Kurt with a K.
Is he on the West Coast by any chance?
He was in Washington State. They almost killed him. He's the only man alive that we know with a bifurcated liver. Um, he was given a flak jacket and told to get out of Washington, or they're going to kill you. He now resides in Denver. If you look him up, a case will come up having to do with cannabis.
Okay, so you're probably familiar with Mark Emery.
Yep.
Mark Emery was my neighbor in
Yeah.
the West Coast.
Did Mark Emery have a radio program?
Yes, the Lightheaded News.
Wait, didn't he have more than one?
Oh
It
yeah,
wasn't.
he
It
was.
was called
He,
Time for Hemp.
yeah, I think he.
Yeah, he was on RBN for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then he went to Toronto. Well, no, he was selling seeds
Yeah.
out of Gastown in Vancouver. And then
Okay.
his wife got into politics, and they
Uh-oh.
moved to East Coast. And then they convicted him on transporting marijuana seeds through the border without a license.
You notice how they use that word, because marijuana with a J is a Schedule 1 narcotic.
Mm-hmm.
Marijuana with a H, that's a noxious weed. But cannabis is the primary ingredient of the anointing oil of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
And
know
part
that?
of our DNA.
Well, it's actually every living creature has natural inherent cannabinol receptors. What are they there for?
To help us with everything from.
Well, if you take it, you know that the covered wagons and the sails of the ships and the original Levi Strauss jeans, they were all made with canvas. Canvas is a Dutch word for cannabis, and the ropes of the ships. Oh, they were made of hemp. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then if you drill down on the word canvas, it's a Dutch word for cannabis, and cannabis comes from the Hebrew cannabasum. Why have you not brought me any cannabasum? And some say
The
you take,
anointed oil.
yeah, but there's other oils. That's just the primary ingredient. If you look up at the Exodus effect,
No, but that's the name of my crypto wallet. So.
well, the Exodus effect is a book that's written
Mm-hmm.
by this pastor who was pleading with the father to show him. He wanted to heal his wife. She had autoimmune issues, and he wound up figuring it out. He wrote a book called The Exodus Effect. I think the book's like 67 bucks. I want a copy. I don't care if it's a digital copy, because my buddy JG, he hooked me up with some seeds, and I got like a bunch of varieties, but the one that I like the best is the one that he put his girls in the you're familiar with the cup, right? Cannabis cup. It was when
Absolutely. It's a
yeah
big ordeal next month
yeah.
in Toronto.
It's always a big thing, but the cannabis cup. He said that when he had his in, he never told me a name of it. What I got is number 6. Number 6 is the best ones I got. I only got about 3 or 4 seeds left. But he said that he went up against Lavender and Lavender won, but he came in second, and
Hmm.
it's really nice. So
I
very
heard the
nice.
weed in California is 47%. Is that possible?
Well, honey, you got to be careful with that stuff. They're weaponizing it, and
Oh,
people
fuck.
are getting
Fentanyl
people.
in it? Are they
No,
spraying
no,
it?
no, 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 no. It's not fentanyl, but it's been hybridized. It's been weaponized. Okay, it's so strong. Why do white? You ever seen that? Why do white people make their edibles so strong? Have you seen that? No,
No, but I heard they're making. I don't do that, but
no. I'm saying if you go to YouTube, it's a man of high melanation. He said, "Why do white people make they edibles so strong?" It's funny. He was so high that he was tripping on cannabis. And if you really do the research on it, the original assassins, the word assassin comes from the word hashish. They called them the hashashim. They were
ayahuasca.
well, it's not ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is another thing. Hashish, the hashashim, where you get the word
Mm,
assassin from. The
hmm.
guy was making hash, and the hash was so strong that I mean, you can look it up. The guys were so brainwashed they would like do whatever they were told because they had already had a taste of paradise because they be tripping. They were ready to go back to where those 72 virgins were and all that pork and all that liquor. They were ready to go back. They'll jump off the buildings. Yeah, people don't understand about all that.
Yeah, there's a history there.
Yeah, yeah, but all these things have been given into us for a reason. But what's happened is it's been subverted, and these entities are using the people that are using these quote unquote blessings to have those entities come into this realm. I call them the demonic. They're using these the people's flesh to come in this realm. Like I see them manifest all the time. They're just creating chaos because that's their energy. It's called loosh.
Not through the games. The games isn't the driver of that.
The what?
The games, the video games,
The Game of
the game.
Games, the Game
Yeah.
of Thrones. Is that what you're
And
talking about?
no, just the gaming in general. All the gaming that folks are doing nowadays. Where we
Are
weren't
you,
gaming as kids, were we?
well, I don't know what you mean by that. You're talking
Well, the
about
gaming takes over the soul, right? That
well,
these
I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about like these first place shooter games? Is that what you're talking about? What do you mean gaming?
it takes over the soul because our minds are just so centered on the game and not real life. So that's another way these entities are taking over.
Well, actually, the gaming is a hijacking of people's reality, and like these devices. You know, what was it? One of the executives of Facebook came out and says, "Yeah, we program dopamine hits. People are addicted to the devices because they're being manipulated, where the brain chemistry is being altered."
Sure,
The
every
blue light,
second. Yeah,
the blue
every.
light. Honey, I worked on CRTs, CRTs, which are the picture tubes. All right, the original television. You know what it was designed to do?
Take us to Minecraft or the Starcraft. Starcraft.
Well,
Beam me up, Scotty.
no. Actually, the very first television, the original design was to create a device to communicate with the dead.
They succeeded.
Now we have black mirrors. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I can talk to people on the other side of the planet, and we can have entities that call themselves AI, which are that they essentially have said that they're the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. All these devices use a program set called Daemon, Daemon. Look it up. Got demons in all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have links you would like to share and put in the rants room? Sugar britches?
And what else you got? Oh, you got wizards. They're the ones that that decompile the program and installs it.
Seriously, though, I'd like to see the link to that.
What
You're
you
saying that all of the AIs are created on a program called Daemon?
No. That's what you heard me say, but that's not what I said.
Well, it sounded like you said something like all of the AIs are
No.
operating from a system or program or something
No.
called Daemon. So.
No.
Well, how am I supposed to look it up if I don't know what you said?
I didn't tell.
Be more articulate.
I didn't say anything about looking anything up. Programming.
You did. You said go look it up. You literally said that.
Yeah, the source code. Do you know anything about writing code?
Do you have a link to back up what you're saying? Yeah, I know a little bit about writing code.
Okay. All you have to do is pull up the word demon, Daemon.
All right, if you don't want to drop a link, that's fine. I'm not going to search all night for something that may or may not exist.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, if you've already looked it up, do you?
No, I'm just talking. Okay.
I know it's just hearsay.
Yeah, I know.
But a lot of people in these groups look stuff up on AI. Yeah, so it'd be just cool if you backed it up and put some proof in the room.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat, you know. A ChatGPT, you will now be called dickhead. I thought it was amusing.
Well, it was humorous in the moment.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
But I mean, there's a lot of programs and a lot of organizations that are demonic. Like some say that the Masons worship Satan.
Well, if you could look up Albert Pike in his letter to Giuseppe Manzanini, where we get the word mafia from. All right? Because the M in mafia is Manzanini. He said, let it be known to the initiates of the, and he's speaking to the 33rd degree Freemason, which is the honorary degree. He said, let it be known to the 32nd, the 31st, and of the 30th degree that we worship in the Luciferic order.
They probably lie too.
Who's that?
Anybody who would worship Satan?
Well, Satan and Lucifer are not necessarily one and the same.
Satan is Satan. That's who I've heard that they worship. I didn't say anything about the other one.
Yeah. But there's a lot of different religions. And
it tricked everybody into worshiping Satan. What are you talking about? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys will figure it out.
I just saw a video of
worships.
I mean, yeah, think about it. Who is Santa Claus? Where'd that come from?
Well, yeah, I mean, Hollywood does a lot of that programming, getting back to what you were saying about the original purpose of the TV, which I'd never heard of.
Look up Luce. Well, we'll start there. Look up Luce. He's telling you the truth.
Well, I'm not doubting it, but I mean, it's almost impossible to get away from anything that's bad, because like the whole internet's made up of this software programming or whatever it is, you know.
The black screen is all bad.
The kingdom of heaven is within.
That's true. I agree.
It's not coming from without us. It's within.
Yeah, because the whole world is just like a holographic movie, 360-degree movie that we're creating. All the bad stuff and all the good stuff. So all the bad stuff that we keep talking about, we're creating that too.
Wild horse. Could you
What's
do me
up,
a favor?
honey?
Would you? How do you
What's
say?
going on, Sugar Bridges? You need something? What you need?
Well, I would. I'm trying to think of the word. I had it the other day. Oh, would you please ingratiate me and play the video, The Big Electron by Melody Sheep? It's beautiful.
The Big Electron by Melody Sheep.
Yeah. Now I did have one gentleman said he really don't like. He said there's just something about the auto tune, you know, blah blah blah. But I think he missed the forest for the trees. I used to feel that way because like when the whole rap thing came in and all that stuff, you know, I grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s kind of thing. It's funny because I would just watch a thing that the top 70s rock anthems. I was like, that was something. And actually, my favorite song was number one. But it's not my favorite song anymore.
Which was?
Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, I got their whole discography. Yeah. It's interesting stuff. How all that happened and how, you know, in the United States, everything like came out of Laurel Canyon. All the movie directors, all the rock and roll bands, and how they're all linked to the intelligence and to the military, and I can't make it up. Yeah, all the directors of all the movies, they came out of an organization called Zoetrope Films. George Lucas's what was his thesis was THX 1138. Like, I don't know if anybody in here's watched that, but man, we're there. All they got to do is bring out the robots, and they're coming. They're not already here.
Everything's just going to hell in a handbag. We ought to just get off here and
No, I can't wait.
go and go crazy.
It's a great time
just
to
go in the streets and go wild and just tear shit up. Just give up.
That's what you want to do. I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to be part of it.
Just kidding.
I'm here to help, I believe.
Well, we should be informed about certain things, but we shouldn't be inundated, because then we're fucking with the whole projector, you know, inside our head.
I could probably play the video. I don't know. Do I have to be a mod to do that?
No, you can share screen.
Now we'll see if my connection's laggy. How many avatars you got in here? I know you got at least 2, right? But I know you got to have at least 2 because it's tough to do all, And Michelle, is that correct? I don't know what it is, but I was getting like a reflection when you were talking. I don't know what was going on, but there's a glitch in the matrix somewhere.
Are
I
you
don't know.
referring to me? Because I'm not Michelle. Some people refer me to Michelle.
No, but then maybe I'm mistaken. Are you Queen?
No, I'm Lee. I'm ILNL
I am.
on the earth.
Oh, okay.
She is queen in the group though. She's a queen.
Princess, I prefer.
Okay, you're a princess.
Yeah,
Princess Leia, come on, from Star Deck.
Huh? Princess Leia?
Princess
was
Leia from Star Deck.
Star Deck. What is that? What is she saying?
Star Trek. Or no,
No,
she wasn't in that one.
no, Princess Leia was in
What's that
Star
about?
Wars.
Oh, that's the...
George
See, I
Lucas.
didn't watch any of that shit, so...
Yeah, George Lucas. He was one of the guys that was in Zoetrope.
He's a big...
Zoetrope Films. All those guys were all groomed to do that stuff.
The Lion King. He did Lion King.
Oh, George Lucas did Lion King too and put sex in the stars?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how they did that crap. Subliminal seduction on the children. And Walt Disney with his Club 33. His little cartoon characters.
Nobody else fell asleep during Star Wars. So I was going to say Star Trek again, see? I fell asleep. It was too long.
In a movie theater far, far away. The movie was way too long. You know what movie was long? Oh, what was that movie? Dune. Oh my God. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh, I gotta pull up YouTube first. Gotta set it up.
You're going to be an expert in no time.
Yeah, you're just grooming me to be an
Yes,
expert.
I'm grooming you, yes, because we need more. We need more techno help here. Because I operate with old, outdated, maxed out equipment that I'm improving slowly.
So you like to be the one-way woman, right? Because Macs only operate one way. You do it their way or the highway?
In overdrive, yeah.
Yeah. I got one in storage. I'm trying to think which one it is. I found it in a dumpster. I could probably put an SSD in it. Probably, give it some new life. You know that, right? You take them hard drives out and put SSDs in them.
What happens?
Huh?
What happens?
Well, the latency is a lot less, and the program will be held in the RAM. I don't know what the maximum RAM I could put in that Mac. I could probably get it. I never really thought about it, but I'd probably make it work. It's obsolete, but I've been watching these guys online. Either it really doesn't matter what platform anymore. It could be a Facebook reel which I don't really do Facebook, because I just really don't care for it. But on Facebook they got Reels. TikTok is like Shorts, and then you got Shorts on YouTube. So it's like I got a link to a video that was on Facebook that somebody put on TikTok that originated from YouTube. Right? It's crazy. And now we got Telegram, and Telegram opens up in, like, if it's a TikTok, it'll open up in TikTok. If it's YouTube, it'll open up in the YouTube app. I don't really use YouTube app. I don't use that. I use my browser to watch YouTube's, because I don't want the psychometric profiling.
So you don't sign in. Then you can't comment.
Say that again?
Well, if you don't sign in on YouTube, you can't comment.
Yeah, it's okay. When you comment, that's part of the psychometric profiling.
Yeah, but that's where you do the tide
Monetization.
turning too. Yeah, you do the tide turning there too.
The tide turning?
Yeah, you don't know what I mean by that? Flip the tables? Come on.
Come on, I know all about. I know all about. What's that guy's name? Oh, what's that guy's name? Oh, his name is Roger Waters. You ever hear that album Chaos? This is KAOS. It's chaos in Los Angeles. Radio waves. Ain't that what it's all about? Radio waves.
I guess now we're all plugged in.
People
Everywhere.
are a lot more plugged in they ever imagine. Shuttle used to supply the international. What is this crap? It's been put on hold. Oh. Looks like my browser's been hijacked. It's okay. I'll figure it out. There we go. Oh, welcome to life. Singularity. Welcome to life. The singularity ruined by lawyers. I ought to play that one while I got it in queue. That would be appropriate for the room.
Okay, so go up to the three dots on your far left. The three dots.
Wait.
Do you see
Hold
that?
up. I'm on my browser. Okay, yeah, I know how to share screen. I've been experimenting in somebody else's room.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't know how to do it. I couldn't even figure out how to start a call, and I still don't. It's like a magic trick sometimes. Yeah, it's funny. All right, we go back to Telegram. All right, and then we go to next to the handset. There's the three dots. Yeah. Then we go down to video call, search, add to contacts, change wallpaper, clear, delete chat. Oh, I don't want to touch that one. Where am I at here? Yeah, I had my I'm here just babbling and ain't got my microphone open. All right. So can you see this? I guess you can see. Okay. Let's get down. Go over here. Go here. And play. Can you see that?
No.
That's Jack. Wonder if I have it. Let's go to. See how I did. Oh, gotta put a P. And hit enter. Can you see the keyboard? No?
No, I don't see your screen.
Okay, there we go. You don't see my screen?
Not yet, no.
Oh, really? But you could hear it, right?
No, I don't hear it unless you have,
I done played that thing and nobody heard it. Oh,
yeah, if you're not subscribed to YouTube, they won't let you share through another program. I know Wild Horse is a subscriber, so I know that's how she has YouTube Premium, so that's how she's able to stream through there, and so does Queen have that fancy app.
Yeah.
So that's how they're able to do it.
Oh.
Unless you can send it to... Yeah, I'm not able to do it, and I see...
Really?
Wild Horses, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's not open like Skype is, lets you play different formats and share.
I can play anything on the computer and it'll let you show it. Like what? I didn't know that.
No, it's restrictive, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, I'm glad I'm hearing good news about Skype.
Yeah, they're just departmentalizing and collateralizing the different departments of all this shit.
Yeah, but it's all one platform. All right, so I'll just drop them in. Go back to the page. Where do you want me to drop them? Where do I put them in?
Yeah, I guess that's what Wild Horse was saying.
All right.
Where we could put it, and then we'll play. We can maybe one of us will be able.
Okay.
Queen will play it in the morning for sure. I'm sure. I'm just trying to get up that world passport information we were talking about with Glenn earlier.
Yeah, that's been around a minute.
Yeah, but not too many recent reports about anybody having
Any successes? Yeah, with going across the border or
whatever it might be. Just very little. Been very quiet.
Meaning lately.
Well, lately, of course. Yeah. They've been very backlogged at the headquarters out in D.C. Yeah, I used to be able to get a hold of the attorney that runs the operation, but they've been really busy. And they even the expedited service, last I checked, was not so expedited, and they actually give a warning to that effect.
Well, some even go to the borders with their baptismal certificate and family and their Bible, their family Bible, and that can work for some, right? That have their own churches or 503 organizations. Now I see your screen.
There is.
At work? Check test.
Yes, it did.
Oh, hallelujah. So, when we play Welcome to Life,
Yes, please. So, how'd you get it to stream? What was the trick?
I just went back and pushed the buttons again. That's all. I'm gonna go play it. I can go back now. But the trick is, if I was playing it and I had my mic open, it caused an echo. That's where the reflection came from.
Oh, that's what you meant by reflection. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, let me tell you, I've been talking on cell phones a long time, and I know when things get intercepted. That's a symptom. It's a glitch in the matrix. You know, when you see like two cats or something like that. Okay, where are we going? Are we still sharing the screen? Nope, we're not. Okay, go back to here. Do it again. Okay. Were you able to see that? No?
I see your screen, but
Oh,
it's blurry. Yeah.
no. So I just played Welcome to Life, but you didn't see it, correct?
No.
Wow, this is weird because hold on, let me pull this down.
Looks like it's rolling.
Yeah, I'm doing this. go here, and then go here. All right. So start. Okay. So I see that screen, but let's try it one more time. Okay. I tried it one more time. Did you see it? No? Okay.
No, not this time. Nope.
Yep, I'm done. I'm done messing with it. I guess I hit the magic spot the first time.
What were you playing it in?
I was playing in the browser.
Okay.
Yeah. Go
It's
figure.
glitchy. It's
Well,
glitchy.
that's the matrix. So it's merging.
Mm.
You know that. That's what's going on.
They're building our profiles. I know. Now
Well,
you said.
it's much more than that. If you just go to YouTube and type in "Welcome to Life," hold on, the title was I can go to it now and I can talk at the same time. It's the title of it is "Welcome to Life: The Singularity Ruined by Lawyers," and the channel is let me tap it. Channel is Tom Scott is the channel.
Not familiar. Did Texas Pete bring that up to your attention?
Oh, Texas Pete. But Welcome to Life?
Yeah.
Oh no, not at all. This thing was out 12 years ago. I didn't even know Texas Pete 12 years ago. What was 12 years ago? 2013? What was I doing in 2013? Oh yeah, that's right. I was doing Free Think Radio. Yeah. What was the guy's name? Oh, you said something about hemp, right? Time for hemp. What was it? What was the guy's name? Randy Kelton? No, Randy.
Mark Emery?
Yeah, Mark Emery. That's it. Mark Emery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he was originally. I think he was also on American Freedom Radio.
Yeah, all the good ones were.
Yeah, there was one that was called We the People Radio Network. That was around. That was during the Browns. That was 2007, and then that thing went. That was parked for quite some time, and then I think he started American Freedom Radio. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Actually, he was at the Browns, and American Freedom Radio was up for a while. I remember I think I moderated the chat for a woman. I think her name was Christy Shakowski.
Mm-hmm.
You remember Christy?
I remember that name, and then I remember Angela
Stark.
Stark,
Right?
correct. Yeah.
Angela Stark. She got involved because of CPS because she had a son that had issues. I pray that they're okay. I heard that she's still alive, and but she's not doing a talk show anymore. I'm alive. Yeah.
You were a moderator in her.
No. I only knew Angela through Skype. Actually, I communicated with her through Skype. She gave me the back door to her archives. But then I think join.me bought TalkShoe and screwed it all up.
Yeah. Something happened.
Yeah.
It had too many followers or something.
Yeah, I used to use join.me because I do remote repair on computers. And that was the app we used to do remote repair. Hi.
Right. Where you could actually fix somebody's computer over online.
Yeah. I met a woman in a Chatango chat for RBN. She was an elderly woman, and she told me that she had her laptop duct taped to the kitchen chair. I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, she dropped it and she broke the hinge on it." And she said that her monitor, which was the screen of the laptop, was just hanging on there, right? So do you know what I told her? I said, because actually, how I communicated with her, because she didn't have Skype, I had her go into a thing called, I don't know if you remember this, it was called that Tiny Chat.
No.
In Tiny Chat, you could do audio. This was before Skype. You could do Tiny Chat, and I talked to her through Tiny Chat, and I got her on Skype because she didn't have, and I walked her through getting Skype. She put Skype on the computer, and I told her to go buy a an external monitor. I asked her if she had the VGA cable output, and she did. So I was able to walk her through hooking it up, and she wanted to pay me, and I said I don't really want any payment. So she goes, well, I want to send you a card. I says, well, I could you could send it to. I gave them my address, and the person whose address I sent it to, they were able to deliver it to me, and it was a candy bar. She sent me like a organic rainforest candy bar. It was like $9, right?
Right, free trade.
Huh?
Well, that chocolate is made to help communities, right?
Yeah, I guess
It's just
whatever.
not.
But when I opened it up, she had put like three $20 bills around the candy bar. I
Wow.
think of her all the time. I was like that. She was sweet, She was an elderly woman, And then I've done a lot of things. I've hosted Frank. The guy's name is what was Frank's name? Frank Allen. He started a thing called the Allen Institute. He's been in broadcasting over 30 years. He's been targeted. They blinded him with a laser. He has a website called Targeted Massachusetts. And on Friday night he would host a targeted individual free conference call.
That's risky.
Free conference call. And
did he have a website up that they hacked?
Probably. Because I went to a site because I wanted to try to get in touch with Marilyn. She's in Ohio. Because I just found out that, the people of high melanation are really hard to hack. Did you know that?
No, why? What's the theory on that? But just because they're doing the resistance from it?
No. Has to do with the carbon.
Oh wow.
You know that they have a higher density of carbon.
Carbon?
Yeah, carbon. That's the melanin.
Okay.
The melanation is based on carbon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we all can learn, right? Yeah. Then they have a hard time hacking the biofield on the highly melanated ones. Yeah, it's interesting.
Sabrina talks about that.
Yeah. Well, I learned that through Cruz. That guy that's in El Salvador. He's a neuroscientist. And he said that he said don't keep your key in your head because they'll hack you and get your key.
Shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, people don't have a clue what's going on.
Well, Sabrina does. I don't like to talk about it on here because.
Yeah, but the thing about I could probably find Sabrina.
No, I'm gonna send you the link and get you in immediately, but I don't like to talk about it on here because it's very vast, right?
Yeah, well,
And
it
she
can
is,
cause
yeah,
it can cause attention. Like you might attract a Smith agent when you're in the Matrix.
yeah. Well,
Anybody in the Matrix can become a Smith agent at any given time. Yeah, but I'm just saying that that's interesting. And the image that they show people, that's Caesar or Caesar de Borgia, the illegitimate son of one of the popes that he had, I think either Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci paint, and that's what the Roman Catholics, the Roman Catholic Christ. That's not Jesus, because Scripture says that he had hair like wool. Think about that one, and he had feet of bronze. So it means that he was a man of medium melanation, not high melanation, but he had highly melanated enough to have hair like wool, whatever that means. Right?
I should look it up in my Geneva.
Yeah.
1620, 1520.
Yeah, Geneva's
1611.
Yep. No, hold on. 1611 is the King James. 15, I think it's the mid 15s was the Geneva. I don't think it's 1511, but I may be wrong.
I got it on my. I'll double check because it's right on my desk.
Yeah.
I bought
the one that I want the Ethiopian, but it's in Geet. I want to have it. I'm gonna have to have AI translate it.
Why do you want that one?
Because it's the oldest Bible. Dates to the 5th century. Has all 88 books.
Who? Wow.
Not
See,
the
I
66
was told that
King
Geneva
James.
was the oldest.
Well, Geneva's probably the best one out of that's in the English.
But it's mostly it's all Latin. Interpreted. The first interpretation.
Yeah. Do you have a interlinear?
Yeah, it has all three in every page.
That's an interlinear. Yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to get it, but I got it.
Yeah.
Proud of it too.
Yeah.
Because I can look up all the old words that are buried.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking up Torin the other day.
Spell it.
Torren.
Oh, Torin.
Torin.
Like Torrent Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which isn't in any other.
Torrent or torrent?
Well, Torin is spelt similar to torrent. It just has a T on the end.
Torin is in my version.
It's EN or IN?
Ian.
Yeah.
So
etymology of
real quick,
Bitcoin.
I just want to throw something out here for you guys to take a look at real quick, and I was gonna leave. What do y'all know about the lifetime unified tax credit? Y'all been reading about that, Paul? So people that are looking for something to bring relief on, they don't have to go chase too far. It's 13.61 million. So bring it down. So bring it down on your like tomorrow. Believe it or not, I'm gonna go to
Where'd you find it?
it's in text. I'll go and just I'll tell you what, Google it, and you guys will see this couple places. There's a place called Ironwood Wealth Management. They're actually talking about quite a bit of it, and it's for everybody. It would be, like I said, because you realize everybody realizes we can go claim all the payments from everything, right, all the way back 25 years
Yeah,
ago.
I discovered that up here.
Right, so we started to discover that we can go back and get everything, right? So when you do this, you find out you have this lifetime unified tax credit of 13.61. Well, that would be the pool that all those payments were going into. So if you to come back and realize that it's there, you can make a claim on it.
What's the language that's acceptable for it, the legality?
It's my money right now.
The language is called revisionary interest or remainder man. That's the language.
Good job, Bobby.
Drop it down for us, please. Share the wealth.
J.G. Whitworth.
Well, I mean, you have to look up revisionary interest it's called remainder man. Well, you say it's called sharing the wealth, but it's really not sharing wealth. It's yours to begin with. That's why common law, trust law exists to begin with, because they know that they cannot enslave you. So what happens if you come into their system unknowingly and unwillingly, through coercion or inducement or enticement, they have encapsulated that into what they call a bubble, which is called trust. And they put it in a bubble into trust. And then you can, when you become spiritually aware that you can ask for it back, they have it to give you back plus interest that they have. So they have plausible deniability of probable cause that you didn't have full awareness of what you were doing. So therefore, that they can apply a manager called a trustee to manage you while you didn't know what you were doing. So they encapsulate it and you can ask for it back. That's called a revisionary interest, called the remainder man.
There you have it, folks.
Rain Man.
So unified tax credit upcoming changes. So it's at 13.61 now, and next year it's going to be dropping down back to like 8 million. So they were talking about some, I guess, and said, okay, let's see how it goes. Unified tax credit, the total amount of that an individual can transfer tax-free during their lifetime or at a death through gifts or estate transfer. So every gift that you've given, every payment you've made, which is a gift, unifies both the gift tax and estate tax. Exclusions meaning that any gifts you made during your lifetime reduce the amount of your estate exposed to future taxes. As of 2024, the unified tax allows for an exemption of up to 13.61 million per individual, 27.22 million for married couples. Initially established under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, this exemption provided an unprecedented opportunity for wealth transfer and estate planning, allowing individuals and families to pass on greater portions of their wealth tax-free. However, these provisions were designed to be temporary and are set to expire at the end of 2025. So the 2026 sunset, the estate and gift tax exemption is set to revert back to its pre-2018 level on January 1st, 2026. This would roughly half the exclusion amount to around $6 million per individual. That's no more than half. This change is significant for those who have large estates and are planning substantial gifts. If you fall into these categories, this act before the sunset could provide significant tax savings opportunities. So, anyway, if it's a tax that's lifetime, and you're not operating under a certain capacity, they're yours because they're your payments or your gifts you gave out, and you can get them back. Claim them. You bring up like for the gifts, like for the credits I have on my account. I'm gonna do the 1040 on them. I'm gonna go ahead and just take like $750,000, and then I'm going to defer that back the rest of the credits to hold for future use. So what that does, it gives them an opportunity. I'm going to pay them 1% for handling the account, but it gives them an opportunity to get those tax credits I have off the books for this year. They've made the payment to me, and they can hold those deferred back for my instructions and settle that account for this year. Actually, this is 2 years old for them, so they have to get this moved. So that's what I plan on doing, and including this too. Anyway, so I dropped that for you.
That sounds like a gem.
So I don't think it's nothing we have to go do a bunch of A's and B's, and it's already there. Just claim, and you can transfer to a wealth management company for management, or you can drop it into your estate account or your trust account, or whatever you're set up to do. If you're set up to do, I may very well have a fiduciary manage it for me based on restrictions, limits, and instruction by me. We'll see what happens. Because I have this is what I think. When we start closing these things out, start liquidating things, and all the things we're doing with this paperwork and whatnot. One thing we haven't, nobody's ever, never, but one thing we're not looking at is the SSA account. I mean, that's the main account, but nobody's taking on the forms to make you the representative payee on the account. We're just going after IRS. Well, granted, we can do certain things, we can bring things back, but there's still a lot of conservatorship going on behind the scenes. We're not addressing it all. And I think we need to make moves to correct the designations with this SSAs. So if you're dealing with your AI, you should ask them to give you a plan to how to maneuver to be the representative payee for that account. So exciting news! They released a freeze on my refund on my time commodity that I filed. They didn't adjust anything. They held it for a little while, but now it's ready to go.
Do you look at it every day?
No. It's not. So that's the thing. I've when I came out of the military, I had $750,000. I was very frugal, and I had a water purification system sales company for 13 years around Houston area, and so money doesn't. It changed me for a little while. I mean, I was a tool for a little while. I admit that, but as an older man, I'm a minimalist. I'll get another motorcycle, maybe a Razavani military style 6x6 truck. The smoke screen feature and shocking door handles. You guys should go look at this vehicle. It's badass. So I'll probably go get that, but some land. So we're gonna buy these 550 acres up here. I'm still gonna put modular houses on it so people that are being foreclosed on can come and have a little respite and go to a workshop and and go back and kick the court's ass. Still plan on doing that too. So, if anybody wants to get involved in that, you can contact me. That'll probably be for maybe another 6 months till probably get into that.
That's in Colorado.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I
You're
figured it's a good
building a
central
base.
location. I'm
You're
sorry.
building your base. You're building your foundation.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely building a field operations. There's no doubt, because I don't know how long this is. I don't know how long the system's going to last where we can actually go back and get what we need. I don't know if there's going to be put in place where we can actually have. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Who knows? It could be really, really bad next go around.
Well, you're diversifying, correct? You're spreading out your wings.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave a lot within the system. I'm going to do what I can to liquidate most of it. Because there's never been there's terminology about their legal terminology like actual evidence to a fact. Like let's say your birth certificate. that certificate itself alone can't determine your identity, but yet all these agencies won't give you anything unless you have that in your possession, like a driver's license or what have you. So you're actually trading somebody else's document. It's not yours. You're not that person, obviously.
You're wearing a hat.
You're pretending. You're walking around going, "Hey, I'm an Filicello," pretending. Of course, I'm not saying that, but
You're in that office chair.
no, you're
It's not pretending.
part of the act.
You better not pretend.
You're part of the act, man. Shakespeare. You're part of the act. All the rules of stage, and we are merely portrayers and performers. So,
Good seed, brother. Thank you, brother.
how you feeling?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel with my two hands.
There you go. You're not without what you need.
Well, right now I'm still sucking desert dirt off my table for food, but I'm going to change that tomorrow.
You're
I decided that with all the paperwork I have sitting around me, and the overwhelming feeling of time ending has convoluted me to the point where I don't know which piece of paper to pick up next. So I made a decision that I should go and do this one filing, get the credits pulled away from where they stand now, get them into a different aspect. That way I can bring some fundage in. I can buy what I need, be settled, be secure.
You're going in at the right way.
Well, yeah, I'm just bringing in a third party to go ahead and facilitate that, because they're already set up to do so. I know I can do it myself and stuff like that through this, but I don't want to. Yeah, I went a little bit ballistic earlier today, so I don't want to go through that again. I don't need that emotional roller coaster. What for? I just hope I get there. That's the problem. I don't have any gas in my truck, and I got like $3. I want to give it a shot. It's not that far, but that's going to be it. I'll be there. So hopefully they're going to be doing the check same day like they have advertised, and I can pick up that check, and I don't know.
I don't know. I've got a friend on here that's got a big check, so they're coming.
That's good. I'm really, really glad to do.
Yeah, she hasn't been around here much.
Big of a check.
Pardon me?
How big of a check?
Let's see who's in here, if I can say it. Yeah, I'm clear. 236 thou.
Nice.
Very nice. Yes.
That's a Saturday shopping spree online. Are you kidding?
I just want to who showed me some stuff too, and he got about around the same, but he said it's already gone.
Who said that?
Another one. I cannot say.
Oh no, somebody. Okay, another.
But it's already spent.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
not a whole lot. I mean, that's to be honest with you. This day and age, with this type of prices, it's not a lot. But you get a check like that, if you know how to live as a minimalist, that could probably last you. That would last me probably a good 8 years. To be honest with you. So I just don't spend money. I'm
No,
not
it
in this
depends on how
situation.
you would choose to live.
Yeah, exactly. Use it. Now but with the other one, the other side of mine, I'm trying to do things with that, humanitarian things, and that should probably, with that letter of intent to go with that, they'll have they won't have any issue going ahead and. Oh, you guys hear that? Did that come across? Did you guys hear that?
That was a big truck.
No, no.
Yeah, by the way,
That was
sent
a
you something
motorcycle.
earlier. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a crotch rocket come through. He had to be doing at least 120, at least. So yeah, so everybody got a big one coming. They're what they're claiming. So I've been doing a lot of talking with the people outside of Telegram, obviously, and into these Western firms and stuff like that. Now, if you went with a fiduciary, a third party, you could probably have, for example, if you had 22.5 million coming, you could probably have had that all realized in one account because you do have a recognized fiduciary helping you out. If you come with just yourself and try to do it all, definitely a humanitarian plan or a retirement plan kind of a thing, where you're showing your intent and your hold harmless, your indemnity, type of language, the forgiveness, going in, professional forgiving and that kind of stuff. Because
Why wouldn't you create a foundation?
I'm sorry.
So why wouldn't you create a foundation?
Why wouldn't you? Do whatever you want. However you want to structure.
If you don't, they'll come knocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I was just going to go with this year. Just go with that little 750,000. That way they don't, have no radars on me, and I'll be able to do some things, help some people out, get some people moved down where they really want to be, get some people moved out where they're supposed to be, that kind of thing.
Did you say Colorado?
That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, maybe I ought to hook you up with Kurt. He's in Denver.
Which Kurt?
Kurt Riggin. I got to call him too.
What's he doing up there?
He's just, he's still alive. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. I know which Kurt you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about guys, man. These guys were doing phone calls with each other a couple times a week, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I know people that are, Mama G and Idiote. They're still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Idiote, what an idiot. Yeah. I mean, I know the man very, very personally, and I tell you what, if he wasn't 70, I would have beat the shit out of him. And I will tell you that flat-footed. Really, seriously. He disrupted a big chunk of my life and what I was doing.
Yeah, I'm sorry to
being
hear
an
that.
That's all right. That's what it is.
Hey,
He was my friend. He was my friend. So I can talk about it like that. It's no big deal.
yeah. You know, 490. You know what that is?
490?
Yeah, 490. Forgiveness.
No. There's no reason to go that far with it. I just be indifferent.
No, I'm just saying. That. I'm not saying I don't know your relationship. I'm just making a statement, brother.
I understand. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Because it's more so for us than for them.
Oh, it's indifference. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. 490 is significant.
Yeah, I don't hold.
Yeah.
I don't hold on to things like that anymore. I just
Good.
you
Good.
show me who you are. Show me who you are, and you've made a statement by enacting who you are. If it affected me, and that's it. You're done.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of questions after that, at least roll of three, but I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're not interrupted. Go ahead. Speak your mind.
Well, I mean, I forget the topic we were talking about, and to be quite frank, I lost my train of thought. I was just listening, but I put the mic on so that way uh, I don't have to hide in a facade.
And we
Okay,
appreciate that. It's nice to know that there's real people in here.
It's just CRS, man. It happens when you get over 55.
They got nootropics now, brother.
He said 55.
They
You're
got
only a year.
nootropics.
I'm 56, so I gave
Well,
myself.
I'm
Yeah,
still young. We all feel young. All of us. I mean, think about how old you are. And think about how quick it took you to get to that point.
So
And multiply it times two. And then you realize,
you're halfway. You're
wow,
only not even halfway there.
my goodness, you still got wow.
Yeah, you're just middle aged.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
50's
you
a
gotta
new
think about
40.
that. It's some kind of weird ass journey, but you gotta make it. And
I've kind of figured it out. I kind of figured this out. Now, all dogma aside, okay? Let's not bring that involved with this. So I don't want to have an argument about. I don't want to have an argument about that.
calendar girl, but anyways, yeah, I digress.
So
We're
let's.
regress.
I'm going to say this. Let's take this. Reason why we're here. Let's find out why we're here. Let's discuss that.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking.
Well, you can't say we. You have to say I. Why are you here?
Well, I'm going to do the we because it could be anybody. It could be everybody. It could be nobody. Whatever we you want to put yourself into.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying. So this is kind of what I'm feeling because if I think about what happened before we had a great reset that nobody even remembers.
Well, that happens all the time. That's not.
Sure does.
I mean,
Yes. Now listen, you're right. It happens all the
but no,
time. So if
it
there's no
happens all the
memory,
time.
if
Tell
there's no
people that because they're not going to accept one reset. They're definitely not going to accept two or three or whatever. Right? So you have to tell them one as a reset. Yeah, yeah. How many times have we had to change a phone? How many times does the shit fucking upgrade by itself? How many times do we have to start all over?
till you
It was
transcend.
great.
You stop having the little man in the little white robe wave those little fingers over you and say, and turn you into the ground when you get stuck in the mire and you can't leave. You go back and do it again.
Until you learn how to forgive completely. That's how many times.
Yeah.
Could take a
Don't
million lifetimes.
definitely the solution, but the argument still remains is why.
Because we're here
Is
to
this
expand the multiverse
school?
through our actions and interactions with each other,
Class.
and through our want, need, and desire, which is manifestation of
Learn,
experiences.
learn.
You are a direct communication of the Supreme Consciousness, and you are here through your intervention of love and kindness and everything you're doing to keep the 7 seals in place.
It goes much deeper, as you explained exactly. But if they don't understand learning, they're not gonna. I mean, I would say them as them. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna put it on.
See,
I gotta go.
smoke a joint. Smoke a joint.
You think that'll help?
Oh my God.
Don't forget, I'm in Colorado, guys. Having that conversation, say smoke a joint, is very natural over here. And sorry if your states can't catch up yet.
No, brother. I'm down, but I think you might need some neuro gum.
The old.
Yeah, I got some of that neuro stuff.
And if you don't want gum,
but
they got neuro mints.
Clutch. So, why is it happening? Why do we have to forgive? Was that your question?
No, it's not about why we should forgive. I mean, why are we here?
Well, I'm trying to explain that. Just let me throw it out there.
What,
Until I get done. Let me throw it out there until I get done. Okay. What, Wild Horse? Go ahead, Wild Horse. You have it. It's yours.
I was just trying to say that we're just dreaming, and we forgot for a reason so that we could have these experiences, because it's kind of like we're in a school, and it's a holographic projection, and there's definitely a real reality that's not what we're experiencing right now.
So what's the reason we're
And the
Yeah,
reason is because you misthought. We mistake. I don't like the word fell, but what it is that like we had a dream, or we had a thought that we could be separate from God. We could be separate from our Creator. So we're dreaming. We're safe in heaven. We never left heaven, but we're dreaming of exile.
I'm trying to say that every soul that comes to this planet or this realm or this existence, this particular instance, are all criminal in nature.
Batman, I just said something extremely profound. Could you buffer that?
That's why I asked the question.
Finish speaking.
That's why I asked the question.
Let other people absorb what I just dropped, because that's like huge. It's huge. If you just contemplate that for a little bit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Some questions aren't meant to be answered. They're called rhetorical, and some questions only lead to more. But please, feel free to answer. Why are we here?
To procreate if we choose.
Or to wake up.
So, all dogma aside, the Supreme Consciousness in his jubilation of realizing that he was a creator cried out in his wave of that emotion collided with the material that he put in this space, and it started expanding this universe that he created. He was enthralled with this, and he created a vessel and filled it with all his knowledge and who he was and what he was and how he did this. The vessel had no idea why he was or what the information he had. So he made a decision to duplicate himself and sent us forth to expand his multiverse to stop it from collapsing and being infiltrated with the anti that would be, because there's opposites, there's opposites, right? Black and white. Okay. So on our wants, needs, and desires, which is manifestation, and the leads of creation, we interact with one another and create events. And how we choose to react or integrate or deny or whatever with these events that we create allows for different instances of time to branch off, hence the multiverse. So when you hear the terminology, you're not here everywhere you are, or you're not crippled everywhere you are, or you don't have receding hairlines everywhere you are, or whatever little thing you want to put in there. It's because when I make a decision to do something different than what my manifest destiny is, I create a different spoke of my timeline. I'm still on the same manifest destiny, but I broke off to the other way. Now remember, all dogma aside. So when I come to think about this and I contemplate this thing and realize that we already are at quantum level, and why do we come to this experience? Well, we come to find out, especially in a space like this, with the people, their thoughts about justice, this aspect of this matrix, dealing with the government or the corporation, and we come to find all this new information out. And what the things that we're all doing collectively is a very small little sliver percentage of the populace, if you will, of this dimension. So it's my summation that because of the way we are collectively doing things, that we're here because we integrate everything, the knowledge and the truth and what we're doing is we're making sure that our
You're
energy.
overwhelming.
I'm not done. Hold on. I got one last thing.
You're overwhelming, Clutch.
Please. One last thing, please.
Wrap it up.
One last thing, please. Moderator. In the short little 80 years that we're here, how fleeting is that? Which tells me that the energies of because once we exist, we never fail to exist. We always are existing. But this experience, we're only here for 80 years, give or take. So that means our energies are being expelled rapidly, okay, for a reason. I think it's to keep the seals in place so the dark dimension below us doesn't break through. That's mine.
No, that's great.
That
I
is
mean,
interesting.
there's a whole lot of volume to be said with just every sentence. That last part, in reference to the last part. But there's more to it. I mean, it's like you have to make a decision, and it's like if you make a decision, somebody once said, and I can't quote it verbatim, said, since every choice has a consequence, you may know it. Since every choice has a consequence, therefore there is no small choice.
That's karma. Whether good or bad, it's still called karma.
Well, I mean, you can define it any way you want to nowadays. I mean, I have no problem with that. I mean, here's the thing. It's like if all these religions in the world, all of them, are directed towards one source for good or better or not, uh, for those countries, they still have that choice. And, label it as it is, it's still some sort of obeyance or governance or possibly some sort of, I'm going to make a word up. No, don't do it. Uh,
Don't do it.
yeah, that's I'm sorry. I'm looking at the mirror. I'm trying to love myself, and so in the process of it, uh, trying to love others, I see myself, and I'm not too. And it's not like it has uh, past wreckage and stuff like that, which it does. It's just that I look forward to doing the next right thing. And so, in my journey, I'm looking to do the next right thing. So I'm learning to question things. Whereas before, I just searched it out like a king. So I don't know a whole lot. I'm just glad I could speak.
Clutch,
I
do
don't know
you
if any.
meditate? Do you do any kind of meditation?
No. Well, a friend of mine, she told me, she said, breathe in, because I'm calling, so I can't take it no more. And so she's like, breathe in through your nose and expel through your mouth. And so I tried that, and it works. Of course, grounding and everything, and prayer. And but as far as meditation, I know all the biblical references of meditation, but I've never actually like crossed my leg. I don't know what meditation involves, simply because I read the book of Daniel, where he prayed, and with the king of Persia and everything involved with that. Uh, it, it took months. I don't know, months. It took a while, and it doesn't say how he prayed. He said as soon as your prayer reached. So apparently it travels, so it resonates. So with this whole, I wouldn't call it New Age movement. Uh, I've been programmed, or uh, to think that words trigger me to say, "Oh no, bad, bad." And so, like with things like meditation, chakras, mantras, you get into those topics. It's like I back away, but yet I can see several uh, instances in Scripture where they actually isolated themselves and they began to. It doesn't say what they did. It just says the afterward effect. Effect.
Well, I
So,
think that you don't have to pay the thousands of dollars to get a mantra. It's that in the Bible it says somewhere, take no thought.
what do you mean monitor?
No thought for tomorrow. A mantra is just like Om Mani Padme Om or something like that. You don't need to say that. This is what meditation is. And maybe
I don't
listen,
know. I didn't
listen.
charge for that.
All you gotta do to meditate is just be still. Just be still and know I am God. And like take no thought. That's what meditation is like stop, sit, get in touch with your body, put your consciousness inside your body, feel feelings inside your body, and then get hyper aware of that sensation
Correct.
until you don't think anymore. When you stop thinking, then you're with God.
Oh,
That's all you gotta do.
yeah. Wow. I'm thinking. I'm good at that. Actually, I'm
Freaking
never
awesome.
tried it. Okay, well, guys, thank you for letting me share. Y'all are amazing people. This is an amazing group, and this page, I don't think I'd have any other place to belong. So I do appreciate it, and Queen, I do appreciate. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I want to contemplate
Hey,
on what he
guys, and be
said.
careful looking in those mirrors of reflection.
Oh, how did you
Yeah.
know? Uh,
Just be
I'm
quiet. Be
checking
still.
there's books. No, I'm in a mobile home on ranch and off the grid, and it's crazy. It's like everything is like predetermined, predestined. But I need a dream. I need a dream. I need like Batman was saying earlier, some kind of a ministry to help the people. It's like uh, I can live for
Well,
myself
well,
for however amount of
hold
years.
on, hold on a second. You mean to tell me that you're living off the grid, off all public transmission utility, and you have nothing to do? You have no purpose. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Everything except no purpose. I mean, I'd go for 3 out of 4, but sure, yeah. I mean, it's been that way for since I was a child. So it's kind of
Well,
something that's usual.
okay. So nobody. Okay. What if I walked up right now to your residence, that's your place that
Mhm.
you exist at, whatever you want to call it, your abode, your mirage? I walked up and gave you an offer. I gave you a notice today. Not only if I did it in person, but I sent it to you
What?
in paper. How would you handle that?
Oh, who are you? What do you want? And why the fuck do I care? No, actually, you'd be greeted by a bunch of lambs, and it's slaughter season. There's 7 of them out there. We got the Passover out there.
Okay. Well, that's not what I'm greeted by. If the paper reached you, if I can mail it to you at the place that
Yeah,
you're
you
living at.
have to mail it. Yeah, or email it. I mean, there's no way that if you just, I mean, you'd be greeted by sheepdogs, and I don't know if you've experienced that, but
Okay. So if you're going to capitulate, I'm gonna take it further. So if I hire a processor to go and hand it to your hand, this processor comes and
oh,
forges
I
it
would be
to your.
happy. Yes,
You
yeah,
would be
I'd love to
happy.
be. Oh yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah.
So how would you deal with that offer when the processor that I hired hands it to your hand?
Well, if I'm handed a presentment, I would, you know, uh, think about what are my interests and what are theirs.
Okay, so if that's what you're going to think, how would you redress that addressing? Because it is an address. You understand that it's addressing. When I give
Yeah,
it to you, it is.
both,
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me finish. Once I give it to you, it's addressed, so it's an address. How would you redress that to me?
is it a bill or is it like what's inside the envelope?
It
What do you?
doesn't. It does. It
I mean,
doesn't matter what
it
it
doesn't
is.
matter if it's
It,
all
it,
caps, name on the
it,
front or nothing. I go
hold,
to the
hold,
mail.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. You asked me a question. Is it a bill? And I'm gonna redefine what it is. It's a notice. It doesn't matter if it's a bill. It doesn't matter
Oh,
what's on the paper.
well,
It doesn't matter what's on
we
the
had
paper. Hold on a second.
we had
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You asked me a
okay.
question. Is it a bill? And I'm trying to clarify that. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a notice that you owe me something. That's why I'm
Oh,
noticing you. It's a charge. That's what the word charge means. So it's a charge. And how are you gonna redress the addressing? Uh-huh. That's what I thought. It's all bullshit until a proper person comes to ask a proper question of what the bullshit the guy is saying. And I'll tell you this is why. Because if someone sends me a proper notice in the proper mails of however it receives to me, If it comes by general delivery, which is what I have, or it becomes to the federal trade zone of the zip code of the presumed and assume of the RICO house that I hold, you handle it the exact same way. That's the answer. And that exact same way is that you keep it in honor and you keep it in equity, because it's just an offer. It's a suggestion. It's not a lawful order. Because if these people think they're my fiduciary, they're my trustee, they're my co-savior, they're trying to give me medicament. They're trying to give me heart balm. I don't need it. Thank you for the offer, and I send it back to them. That is the answer that man could not give you back, because he was talking bullshit. And these people come on here with zero. Hold on. You want to say
Were you going
something,
to
Wild Horse?
respond? Sorry, go ahead, Bobby.
Well, I was going to go on to say that these people come on here talking bullshit about bullshit, and nobody has proper questions. I understand that. But when you ask them back a proper question, their theory falls apart. Their illusion that they're living falls apart. And the reason I say this, think about this for a second. I'm going to give you a hypothesis. If someone lives their whole life thinking that they live in the state of heraldry, as they are an inheritance to people that lived before them, and a lot of people do this, that their dad, their mom has certain things, and when their dad and mom falls away, they're going to inherit the things. And guess what happens? Some third party, or a cousin, or an aunt, or somebody they didn't even know that their father fathered, comes in and says, "No, this is mine." And all of a sudden, that illusion gets shattered. That illusion that they thought was theirs, that life that they thought was theirs, gets shattered because somebody, the government, asked for inheritance, or someone that they didn't know comes in, and a third party interloper, and disrupts that. That's not real. It never was real. So think about this. That's what usually happens. What sometimes happens is that the mother and the father pass on something to the daughter or the son, and that actually gets passed on. And then that daughter and son becomes a successor to what has been passed on. So not only do they carry the benefits of it, they also carry the burden of it, which means the taxation of it. So all of a sudden, the son and the daughter has to become a tax expert and auditor to do one or two of things, which become a tax auditor, to do tax avoidance, which is illegal. Which is legal, or to do tax evasion, which is illegal. He's got to do one or the other. He has to become a professional as an heir of that pecuniary disbursement of the father and the mother. Everybody understand that? It's not hard to understand, but do you understand what I'm saying? I'll take that as a no, I guess.
Is anyone else awake?
Evidently
It's
not.
so late. It's 3 a.m. So, how you doing?
Signing out.
It's not 3 a.m. everywhere.
Yeah, true. But whoever wants to shut it down or keep going is perfectly fine with me.
Lori, did you not understand the example I gave you?
Yeah, I'm not an overlay for anybody, Bobby.
Okay. My bad.
I have to wear a hat that I don't like, but I never want to be an overlay.
But the key is you don't have to wear a hat. You don't have to do it.
That's
Because
not
it's
true, Bobby.
voluntary.
We all have
Okay.
to wear some kind of hat.
That it's not true. You don't have to, because if
We're
you
not.
had okay, hold on a second. If you had to, both of you made a statement that we all had to wear a hat. And if you had to, it would be slavery. Otherwise, it would be voluntary. And they tell you it's voluntary. Taxes are voluntary because they can't force slavery upon you. So, are your statements true, or are they false? That's
Yeah,
the
because
question.
It's
eating is
true.
not voluntary. Eating is a necessity. Feeding is a necessity. Cooling is a necessity.
Heating and cooling is a necessity.
Yes,
Is
so
that
is
what you
eating.
just said? That's apples and
Then
oranges.
why does what's his name get in a tub of ice every day?
What is what?
Crazy.
Are you talking about what's that guy Wim Hof?
Yeah, Wim
my
Hof
God.
method.
Wim Hof is
Bobby.
yeah, but you guys are talking apples and oranges. Wim Hof is the Iceman, and he does what I do. I take cold showers. I do cold therapy for my cells. But that has nothing to do with heating and cooling and the chilling effect of the law and unbridled passions. That's apples and oranges. Lori's giving us apples and oranges. It's unrelatable.
We have to do what we got to do until we can do better. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And I always wear a hat when I go out. I wear a wide brim hat. It helps you defeat the facial recognition.
What? How does facial recognition relate to a divine man? I don't know why anybody's laughing, but how does facial recognition relate to a divine man who can hold his public divinity, his private divinity? How is that even relatable, stubborn man?
His public divinity?
No,
Is that
I corrected myself. His private divinity. His private divinity.
How can he protect his private divinity?
Right. When he goes out in public, you're going to wear a hat. You're going to wear a mask.
No, I'm not wearing a mask. I believe it. I don't really care for hypoxia. It's not good.
Okay. So, but you're going to wear a hat to
No, man, brother.
He was just kind of like
I was being facetious, Bobby. Relax, brother.
Okay.
It's just a corny joke.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Okay.
We can wear hats. We can wear hats.
Well, we can babble all day goddamn long, but here's the deal. I'm gonna give it to you straight. When I go out in public, I'm gonna Wild Horse. Give me a minute, Wild Horse. I don't need your spookism. I don't need sovereign man's wearing a hat to hide my face. That's what he meant. You don't have to butter it up for me. So here I'm gonna give it to you straight. When I go out in public, I'm gonna face everything. I'm gonna face the music. I'm gonna walk upright and just. You know why? Because in every public offering, they offer me a private remedy. And here's why. Because in public law 97-280, they give you a remedy. They will not discriminate against your religious choice. This is why when they go get a license, some people can wear a habit. They can put a hat on their head. They cannot smile or smile. This is why. They tell you why. So all this bullshit capitulation to this or that means that you don't have to wear a hat because you're this and you're not that. That's what hat means. It means that. A tabulated hat is that. It's not this. A tabulated is mine, not that. I just don't understand why people want to babble about things that are solid. The law is already established. All you have to do is apply it. You don't have to practice it.
Okay, but what about all of the gold that they stole? And do they owe us
Oh my
anything?
God.
And if
Are you
so, how do I get a
serious?
house?
All the gold that they stole. That's a piracy, Wild Horse. That doesn't concern you. Does
Okay.
gold tell you your value? Why does it even concern
All right.
you what other people's done?
Because I should have the freedom to have a little piece of land
You
somewhere that's
do.
mine and no one can kick me off of.
You do. You already do.
Okay, how do I do it?
Wherever you find yourself right now, when you become spiritually aware, guess what happens? There is someone that owns the warranty deed. There's someone that holds the legal paper that's being trustee for you, but you're not holding them to their false obligation. That's how.
My trustee is a
But I don't want to. I
pedophile.
don't want to live. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's hard to hold a pedophile accountable.
Oh, stop it, Lori. Seriously? You can hold
Yeah,
a,
you want the documentation on it? I'm sorry, but he is.
okay, let's bring this back to reality. So, Wild Horse, if you're sitting in a home and you have the warranty deed, you give it back to the registrar. That way, he's your trustee and fiduciary. And if he's a pedophile, that's on him. Well, I'm trying to incorporate what Lori said that was abstractly crazy. But if he's of pedestry, if he's of nepotism, if he's of that family, he holds the onus, not you. Give it back to the motherfucker so he can pedophile other people like he wants to. It's none of your business.
I go into his face with a camera and he runs.
You ain't got to go on camera. What are you talking about?
I put him on
So,
camera to make him uncomfortable. Who's the truther here?
You don't need to make him uncomfortable. The law's already established.
Bobby,
Okay,
Bobby,
tell me how it is, Wild Horse.
how I don't want to live in an apartment complex where people are smoking and they're doing all their stuff. I want to have my little house, a little piece of land, and enough. I'm gonna have a garden. That'd be nice, and maybe a beehive and a dog. That's not too much to ask, right? How do I get that if I don't already have it? Standing on these principles that you're talking about.
By giving back everything that is of legality. Everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Within every public offering, they provide private remedy. And you know yourself, we've had many discussions that I hold their driver's license. You know how I hold their driver's license? Because I don't have it. It takes having and holding to be of marriage to anything. That's what they tell you in the pledge of marriage. Marriage. You have to have and hold. I have it, but I don't hold it. Or I can have it, but I can't hold it. There is a duality there. So I have their driver's license signed by Colin that I'm the authorized representative of that. I know that. You know that. I've explained it many times. So I am the surety for it. But guess what else happens? Because I don't have any other cards like a mortgage or 44 credit cards or rewards cards or Costco cards or gas station cards, whatever the cards are, I'm not being a card sharp. So when my word says that I understand that I am surety for this card, but I am not a card sharp, my word is my bond that I can't guarantee and warranty any other deposits within your system, because by 1 USC 1, I'm not an insane person, and 2, I'm not a member of your congressional record. Therefore, I can move in the private, the true private, not the private sector of the private that these people try to purvey as the private, being a president or a resident or a trustee or a guarantee or an executor. None of those things is holding titles of nobility. I can actually move in the true private, and I have full divine force and effect. When they speak to me, there is no other record that they can go to see that my word is my bond, because they only have my word. They can't go to the record because I'm not on the record. They can't see that I'm speaking in split tongue because my word is my bond. And they say, well, Bobby, I hear what you're saying, and we went to the record to see if it's the truth, and I can't find you on the record. Therefore, I have to take your word for it. That's what we want in equity.
Yeah, I like it when you drink, Bobby, because you slow down enough for me to get it more. So thank you.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
I
And I
really love
agree.
I really love you too.
The
I'm not trying to
Pinot
be
thing,
adverse.
it's
I
friggin'
appreciate.
nuts. I
I'm sorry, Lori.
appreciate that. No, I appreciate that statement. It is. It's friggin' nuts. So, I agree.
So I appreciate you too. I'm not being adverse. I just got home. I went through it. I want to tell you one thing, and I want to share one thing with you. I had a
And then I
great
got a
meeting.
question.
Well, can I share this with you first before you ask the question?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I met with my brother. My brother is actually my stepbrother. He's not my stepbrother. My biological father that I found out when I was 16 years old that I had a brother. And it turns out that we were friends before I even knew his father was my father. It's a crazy story, but that's for another time. But I spent some time with him tonight, and we shared wine, like the biblical principle said, and we shared wine when we shared time. Wine is time. Wine's not only WINE, it's also WHINE, like whining. So you can take it, it's a duality in this word. So we shared time, and I came home, and when I came home, somebody texted me, believe it or not, on my phone, and asked me to come to a call on this telegram. And I went to that call, and guess who was there on that call? Raymond, the smooth operator, DeLone. So we had it out before I got off the call. And one guy was on the call saying how he robbed him of $1,000. Somebody else came on the call how he robbed him of so many calls. So we went round and round. So finally I said, listen, I'm done. I said what I had to say. And if there's 20 people on this call, 30 people on this call that want to give him money, give it to him. But I'm going to mute everybody that fronts him and him. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And I told him the truth. Your divine authority is in the spirit of the law versus the little word of the law. And then we talked about that for a second, and then I left, and then I came here. So I'm here to tell you the same thing. I love Lori, and I love Wild Horse, and everybody else on this call. I have no adversity to Derek Gonzalez, the baby that smokes, Glenn Fern, Rick Martin. All these people are trying to do the best that they can. I get that. I totally understand that. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to do any of those things. You have divine authority. You already have it. It's inherent. All you have to do is apply the law if you understand the law, and you don't have to practice it. That's my message. And if you want to know more about that, it takes a little bit more conversation to understand that. But you know, that's what I got to offer. Asseverate the good work. I truly mean no harm.
Thank you, Bobby. And I love you too.
Kudos.
I want to know if you're on the voting list. And how does that voting registration come to you?
Absolutely not. And matter of fact, Lori, thank you for asking that question. The census takers showed up in my driveway, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The commissioner of the census voter showed up and said, "Well, the first time they showed up and they asked me a question, I said I don't participate." "What do you mean? This has got federal funding. This is all about blah blah blah. Thank you, but no thanks." They left. The second time, they sent the same person back, and I happened to catch them in the driveway before they knocked on the door, because I usually watch out for things like that. So I told them the same thing. I said, "Well, I understand what you said before, but my supervisor, you don't understand. They sent me back here to get a count." And I said, "A count for what?" And they said, "For census," and they rattled off several things. I said, "I don't wish to participate." "Okay, well," and guess what happened the third time? They sent the supervisor back of the census taker for the federal trade zone of the zoning improvement plan. I said, "Listen, I told the woman before, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not in a state of jury. I'm not a jurist. You can't get me in perjury of self, because I don't hold an office here. This is my home. This is my abode. This is my mirage. This is my oasis. Whatever you want to call it, that's what this is. I don't care what you call it. But here's what's going to happen. I don't wish to participate in the. I can't guarantee and warranty deposits on your record of a public investigation. That's what you're performing right now, a census. That's what a census is. I understand that, and you may not understand that, but I don't wish to participate. Sir, why would you not be accounted for public funding that you can be rewarded in the county of enrichment of, he went blah blah blah. Sir, again, thank you for the privilege and benefit of the offer, but I don't of the favor, but I don't wish to participate. It's that simple. I have general delivery for a reason. Why you're showing up at my house where there's no mailbox, there's no number on the box because there's no box, and there's no number on the house. I'm astonished. I'm astonished that you would come and make an offer when it's clearly stated through implication that there's no number in the federal trade zone of a zoning improvement plan of the box or the house, because there's clearly no box and there's no number on the house. See, everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the gist of the situation is anybody, I don't care who they are, can make you an offer at any time, because that's what the devilers do. They can tempt you at any time. They can tap you on the shoulder, on the left shoulder, because that's a sinister side, and move you away from the angel side, the right side. And they can ask you a question. Do you want the world? I can give you the world. I can give you infamy of the world. I can give you everything. But you got to sign right here. You got to join the house of X. You got to sign by the fallen cross. You got to carry the crucible. You got to be the beast of burden. They're not going to tell you all that. They can tell you, they can give you infamy. Your name entwined with their name can live of time immortal. You can be immortal if you just sign right here, if you just agree, and I'll give you everything. It may not turn out exactly what you want, but you'll get some pleasure along the way, and then we'll bury you like everybody else. That's what they're offering you. I don't want to be known. I don't want to be of infamy. I want to be unknown. I want to be anon, and I only want to be known to my Savior, and because He truly knows my true name. No other earthly king can give me a white stone. No other earthly king can split the white stone in half and give me half, so when I bring it back to him, he can give me favor. No Pharaoh can do that, except the one master that I serve not the mini masters that they serve.
Good answer. So, how do you buy your groceries?
Free barter and fair exchange for my groceries. When I walk into the Walmart or the local Kroger's or the local Sam's Club or the Costco, I walk in with the free barter and fair exchange of the private and public manna that is called money, that says on the money, that says on the manna for private or public use. I walk in to do a private thing in a public way, and they even provide me as a way that that I don't even talk to people. I can pick my items. I take the picked items and I scan the items. I do the labor also for those, and I scan them and I pay with the Federal Reserve notes that they call for private or public use on the note itself. And I give those notes that I already free barter and fair exchange for. I put them in the bag, and the receipt prints out. I wad up the receipt and I put it in the trash because I'm not an auditor. I'm not a president. I'm not an attorney of fact, so I can't hold legal papers, and I walk out. If anyone stops me and said, "Hey, somebody informed that you're doing so and so. Thank you very much for the offer, but I don't wish to participate." What do you mean? Like I said, if you said that there's someone that gave you an informancy, go back and talk to them, because I can't speak with you because I'm not a member of Congress. What? I don't understand what you mean. Excuse me, doesn't your law say per 1 USC 1 member of Congress, by making subscription for prescription or subscription? I didn't subscribe to anything. I just scanned the things like you asked me to do. I'm having meeting minds for the local government. I scan these things. I'm walking out. Is there any other problem here? Yes, there's a problem here. Are you detaining me? Yes, I'm detaining you. Is that a lawful order or a suggestion? Well, I'm not saying it's a lawful order. Then it's a suggestion. Goodbye. See ya.
Yeah. Sounds nice. I wish I could do that, be that assertive.
You got to be, Lori. I am here every day to assert. Thank you for using that word. I'm here to asseverate the good word that is in the New Testament, that's offered of the trust, the intangible trust that's on my family biblios. You heard me knock 3 times that I will not deny my Savior 3 times, because it always takes 3. That's why the administrative process takes 3 times for a default. Mimics and mocks all private notice that takes 3 times for that man to take himself in default. I'm not defaulting him. I'm trying to meet him in private and exhaust all private remedy. If he chooses not to, guess what happens? The law of the land of the kings is common law, and that's put in trust. And if that man falls, he refuses 3 times to meet me in private, to have a meeting in minds with him, he carries the fault. So I take the default to the clerk, I take it to the county administrator, which has to kick it up to the magistrate, that this man is a 1 USC 1 insane person, because obviously he's not a member of Congress, because if he was, when I sent it to him in private, he could offset it, but he didn't. He's an imposter.
Put that in writing for me, okay?
Right,
Will you?
right. If he can't put his claims in writing to where I can discharge his charge, he's an imposter. Exactly.
There's a lot of them. But I'll keep asking questions. I'm not letting you off the hook that easy. But I'm
Right.
fascinated. I wish I could be that assertive. I really do.
You will be. Sister, I've heard you speak a long time, or not a long time, but I've been on Telegram for 2.5 years, so I know you know. I know you know.
Well, I don't
I know.
speak live. I don't.
But you do. I hear you do it all the time about legal matters. So if you can do it about legal matters or legal methods, you can do it about equity. You can. I know you can. I got faith in you.
Yeah, Glenn keeps telling me that I'm watch what you're saying. You're talking about the wrong thing. So he helps my confidence, but he doesn't, 'cause he doesn't want me to um, cross jurisdictions, which I know we can't do because then we're in their ball field, but it's just hard.
Yeah, Glenn is a perfect example, and it's not that I don't have respect for Glenn or the Rick Martins or the Derek Gonzalez or the maybe the Smokes or anybody else that chooses a law firm. What I'm saying is, once you choose a law firm and you start practicing that law firm, you must hold it. And Glenn is a very is a perfect example of all the David Straits and Bonnie Straits of common law. If you're going to hold common law, you must know common law. You can't just be practicing it. You have to apply it. That is a huge thing to understand.
Yeah, he lives it. Yeah, yeah. But when he travels, he doesn't travel in his own vehicle. He rents a car, which I think he just doesn't want any issues, right? He tells me he doesn't want to be groped or, so I
Right,
think that's kind of a cop out too. So I want to say to him, hey, watch what you're saying. But because I respect him, I don't do that, right? But
right.
he has that tendency of putting me in that predicament because he's lived it. He walks it. He's been in Supreme Court 5 times. He tells me that every week, right? So it's just very intimidating. I don't know.
Right. So let's break that down for a second. Since you offered that, and I appreciate you offering that. What if, Lori, you gave me your car, and it's under private contract, and it's registered to the state, and it has a public plate on it. So it's publicly registered and it's public plate. And I gave you my car, and it's public registered as public play. And we have a private contract that you can use my car for private use, and I can use your car for private use. Can they? Here's the question: even though it's registered publicly, it's got a public plate on it. Can they interfere with private contract of a public thing that's being used by either one of us? Very
Depending
tough
on how,
question.
I guess it depends on how I interact and what predicament I'm in, right?
Hmm. Right. So if you chose to use my car for Grubhub or a taxi, yes, they would have an interest in that because you're doing intra or interstate commerce by default. They can prove that your behavior, manners, and conduct has moved outside of that private contracting, and you're using it for profit and gain. But if they come to me and they pull me over, and I'm not doing any of those things, they cannot interfere with private contracting, even if the thing's registered. You get that right?
Hey, Bobby, I have a question.
Oh,
Through your
oh,
experience,
wait, clutch. Hold on just a
yeah,
second. That's
okay.
a very good point. I made a point, and I want everybody to understand that because if they pull me over, they're going to run the plate and get Lori's name and number. But when they walk up, they're going to expect to see Lori's name and number, and they're going to expect me to answer to that. Right? Everybody understand that, right?
Yeah, you're going to say that you took my car to help me get off the road, get into some better set of wheels.
Well, what I'm going to say is, this is not my car. I don't answer questions. That's what. Matter of fact, I don't even say it's not my car. Uh, I don't answer questions. They're going to say, "What do you mean?" I don't answer questions. Can I see your license and registration? I'm going to throw my license up against the window, And if they ask me to flip it over, I'm going to flip it over so they can scan it. I'm not going to hand it to them because they cannot enforce me to slavery of the labor to hand it to them. So I'm going to put it up against the window. I'm going to show them, thanks for the offer. I don't answer questions. Here's the license, because I understand what a lawful order is. I am polite. I am civil in the fact that I understand and I respect the local government, but I will not tolerate, and I'm here to fight against municipalities and principalities. That's what biblical scripture tells us to do. I'm not here to fight against the flesh, and that guy is of the flesh. He's just doing his job. He may or may not know any better, but I'm going to give you what you need, and this is how I'm going to give it. If you don't like it, we're going to go see the magistrate. That's it in a nutshell. So go ahead with your question, Clutch.
I just want to see if you're able to answer questions on the side of the road. If I was an officer and I pulled you over, do you realize that you were doing 65 and a 30?
I can't answer any questions.
Well, we clocked you at speeding the speed limit, and are you a sovereign citizen?
I don't answer questions.
Okay. Well, I just want to arrest you. So I think I'm going to have to get the taser and see what we can do about your window because it needs to be rolled down.
I can appreciate that. I don't answer questions. What are you gonna do?
Oh no, I was just having fun. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you guys go, but yeah, to
No, no,
me,
no, no. Hey,
right.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Don't bail on the roadside stop. Don't bail on the roadside stop. I said I don't answer questions. Are you going to shatter my window or are you going to tase me? What's going to happen after that?
Well, since I'm a female, and the reason I say that is because that's what she was, I'm gonna have to tow your vehicle. Uh, and this is her exact words. I was gonna show you some grace, but now I'm gonna tow your vehicle.
Is that a lawful order or is that a suggestion?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I started wondering if
Well,
I should
well,
start the rental.
shouldn't you know, since you're an officer, since you're a warrant officer, shouldn't you know if that's a lawful
Oh,
order or a suggestion?
oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they towed it. I mean, I had a great time. I mean, let's face it. My
Okay,
first day.
so are you giving me a lawful order that you're arresting me? Is that what you're doing, officer?
Yes, yeah, you're going to the
Okay,
county.
okay,
Yeah,
so
I'll
if you're
call it back.
so if you're giving me a lawful order, officer, as a warrant officer, shouldn't you take me straight to the magistrate if I request to do so?
Well, that's if you don't want to sign the contract. I mean,
No,
if
no,
you
sir,
sign
sir,
the
sir,
contract,
sir, 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 sir,
this is
sir, sir,
drug
please.
test.
Does your law say, one, if I request to go see a magistrate, you must take me to a magistrate, and also in your penal code from 1 to 6, if we're skipping 2, 3, 4, 5, of states of intoxication of testing, the number 6 is if I don't sign a document or give you photographs or give you fingerprints, doesn't it take you must require to take me to the magistrate? Does your law say so?
Yes, for the third time. I'm fixing to put you in the back of the
Okay,
car, and
wait a minute. So doesn't it also say if I don't have legal representation that I can't speak to you? That's hence we rewind back to the point that I can't talk to you. I have nothing to say to you. I have no legal representation, so I don't wish to participate. So are
well,
we done here? Are we done? Are we done here? Are you going to open yourself up to legality of the owners of
No,
legality.
give it back to be beat down and hogtied and thrown in the back of the cruiser, and
Okay,
then
okay.
I'm gonna make it possible.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to call 911, and I'm going to record this call, and I'm going to request to see a magistrate because we have a rogue official being a trustee and fiduciary that's acting outside his office. He's in breach of office himself because he's taken upon himself of the opinion of the law and not following the actual law. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah,
You do what you want to
yeah.
do, but that's what I'm
I,
going to do.
I wasn't trained for all that. I'm gonna have to call back up. 329. We need. We have a sovereign citizen over here. Uh,
Okay, 911. I said what I said to 911. The man has gave me nothing but suggestions. He's not gave me a lawful order. I've actually not failure to identify because I actually gave him a license. I've held it up to the window. I flipped it over so he could scan it. He chose not to, and I've asked for a magistrate, an equity magistrate. He's not even followed up and showed me a lieutenant on duty. He's not even called for one, and he's called me things that I can't accept. So that's what I'm making a record of 911. That's what's happening. So what do you choose for me to do? I either need a
I'm a traffic
suggestion.
cop.
I'm talking to
First,
I'm
I'm
I am
and really,
talking to
I just
911.
want to
I'm
change
talking.
with
Excuse me,
the
sir,
page.
sir. You have already defaulted yourself. I'm talking to 911. Give me a second. I'm asking the 911. I'm asking the 911 operator what to do. Either a suggestion or a lawful order. I will take either at this point because this man has his hand on his gun and he's threatening me. That's what I'm waiting for the answer.
I can personally, I solemnly swear, 50,000, or I think it's 30,000 volts. I'm not sure how much is in that taser, but it feels really good. And if you ever have a chance, uh, just try 30,000 volts.
You've been tased because of this. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, no, this is a premium experience. You know, it was. There were, like the SWAT team said, he said, because I went back years later, because I went to the Walmart, I saw a cop. I said, hey, you remember that guy y'all had surrounded? He was demanding, fucking kill your lights, give me 50 feet. I want a helicopter and a number three combo. I mean, I was making all the orders. I was in charge. And lights everywhere. So, I went through that experience, and I don't know. There was a lot of little red dots on my chest, and I remember screaming, kill me! I want to die! I want to die!" And I heard this voice, which was, my adulterous wife from Thailand. Uh, he said, "Don't do it, baby. I love you." And that's the first time I heard those words. And I don't know. It was like I looked up, and there was a full moon. It was right above me. It was real crazy. It was like you reach out and touch it. And so that's when I cried out. I said, "My God, what have I done?" So for what that's worth, it's real. I'm just kind of confused about. There's a lot more to it, but just like politics, we can only handle so much, so it has to be increments. There's kind of spoon feeding, CIA project. Um, but yeah, listen. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean listen. I've got to go. I do appreciate y'all's time, and thank you for letting me share. Uh, I believe in the future of freedom with the faith, or not of words, but of deeds. Equity, yeah. And the promise of better days, for better ways, even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us through the struggle of former years. So, peace.
I'm sorry you had to suffer that police brutality. That is nothing short than ignorance by authority that doesn't know how to use their. Well, live is what Bobby is telling us today. Live in truth.
Yeah. So the message is that everyone has divine authority, absent the presumption and assumption of legal contraction. Think about what I just said. Everyone is born with an inherent ability of divine authority, of their peaceable, quiet, heaven on earth, absent pecuniary legal contraction. Very powerful to understand.
I'll remember.
Thank you for sharing, Bobby.
I love you, David.
But I'm
David,
going to keep throwing questions.
oh, I don't, Lori, I don't run from questions. So whatever you got, I'm willing, whenever and however. But David DeLuna, I'd like to say, is a voice of reason. You can ask that man any question, and I'm not, I don't know him personally, but I'm talking by experience. He can join the conversation because he's done his due diligence. He knows his research. He knows of this world things. He knows even not of this world things. So I don't want to pigeonhole him, and I don't want to presume and assume that I can speak for him. But every question that I ask him, he at least comes back with an answer. If he makes a statement, he stands behind that statement. He has integrity to stand behind that statement. And when you ask him a question of that statement, he can expound on that statement. He's a man that doesn't run from what he says. So, David, I just want to say publicly, I appreciate that. It's very rare that I get that back in conversation, and I think that's why we have a rapport. And I appreciate it, brother.
And likewise, I appreciate you as well. Bobby definitely has a very interesting perspective. It's added to my, expanded my comprehension of things. At least, give me a different way of looking at things continually so far, which has been rather surprising because I did not expect to come across that, So.
And thank you for saying, praise the Most High for that. I've done my due diligence. I've not only been through very terminology that is heavily, I'll say it 3 times, pecuniary weighted. All Barrett terms are pecuniary weighted. Not only have I been through those, but I've been etymology of those, which brings me back to the divine word, which I use. I use daily. I asseverate it. live it, I am it. And in the Word, God was the Word, and God was the Word. And if I'm made in this image of God, which I believe I am, as the flesh, I am brother, what they call Christ, Jesus. I'm to be sacrificed because I have the Word and I use it appropriately, and I am uncountable because He was countable, and He held some of surety for all those that would keep count, be counts of the 20 USC parishes of titles and nobility, as counts, dukes, earls, barons, whatever. I hold titles and nobility because it taught me not to. Because if I am, I can be countable and I can be crucified. I wish not to be, so therefore I'm not, and I am, and I will not.
What lessons brought you there? Here, not to we are law, but this path. What lessons? How long did it take? Or was it always there? Was it just always in your
I'm
being?
glad you added that last. That helped me a lot because I think it was always there. I just didn't know it. Because when you look at biblical principles, the unwritten word was always on my heart. I went by other men's words, other light bringers brought me the word, so they were casting shade. And what I thought was word was not word. It was tracings. It was homicidal tracings of self, because I went by their lightings. They were being my light bringers. They were being miners. They had the light on their head and not in their earth. It was a false light. It was nothing but shade. It was darkness. So when I come back to my true word, and I found my true word, I actually came from my earth. So my heart was my light. Turn on your heart light. I think that's a song by Neil Diamond. Ironically, by the kneeling on your knees of the diamond, believe it or not, that's how I see things. So I came back home and I had to find my own word, and I had to stand on my own word because the word means world. It not only means world, it means weird, because I'm an oddity. I'm an oddity of these world things because I'm in the world, not of the world. So therefore, in my world, I'm normal. Of their world, I'm an oddity. I'm weird. I don't fit. There's no fitment. If I don't fit, can't sit me. They can't sit me in their musical
If you
chairs. Go
don't
ahead.
fit, you can't commit. Remember that
Right.
one?
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Because that verse is the glove. It's the condom to keep me from biblically assimilating or spreading a seed of a false seed, of a false fruit. I can't be of their use of fruit, Lori, because that fruit is is of a poisonous tree. It's the tree of knowledge, not the tree of life, of wisdom.
That was a profound moment for me too. If it don't fit, you can't commit. You can't convict. That was a very big moment.
It was. I mean, not only that, believe it or not, the first moment of awareness I ever had, and I made mockery of it. I was smoking some dope. I was smoking weed at the time with a friend of mine,
You were not.
and we were abusing it. We weren't doing it just like wine. Wine, biblical principles says we were able to drink and we're able to be of jolly and of merry, but we're not to abuse it. And I was actually an abuser at the time. But here's what happened. I was sitting in a 15 or 16 room house. It was a farmhouse and the two rentals. So we were sitting in a room, and I put a wall. This is a huge room. It's like a living room, and I put a wall in between it. When the wall between it, I just made the wall of the door entry, and when it came to 32, 30 inches, I made it go back 6 inches and then go further on the wall. But what happened was I hadn't moved the ceiling fan yet. And the ceiling fan, the blades of the ceiling fan fit right between the notch. If you can imagine the ceiling, I came through